Earth is very flat.
What's up, guys? It's Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. This is Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. Hope everybody's doing okay out there. Give me the thumbs up if the sound is all good. Was having some microphone issues before the show. Imagine that, me having some kind of technical issue. Crazy, huh? Anyway, hope everybody's doing good out there tonight. Let me say hello to everybody in the chat to start off with. Bill G says, sounds good. Thank you, Bill. Globebusters, what's up, Bob? Zima Just Plasta. Earth is flat. Hi, all. Hello. Logan's Run, page 42. Ian Adams, flat for life. D.K. Scrolling. You guys are busy in chat tonight. Page 42. What's up, Paige? And I say Logan's Run? Matrix Media. Okay. I think that's it. Wow, lots of chat pre-show. Plain Truth. What's up, Travis? How's it going? I see you in Discord, so I'll say hello to you in a minute. That's a lot of thumbs up. Sound must be good. Thanks, guys. All right, what do we got planned for tonight? Not much. Actually, probably going to have to cut the show a little short tonight. I have a commitment a little later tonight, so sometime between 6:30 and 7, I'll likely be ending the show. So I do apologize for that. I thought that'd be better than not having a show tonight. So a little short show tonight. Apologize for that, but it is what it is. Let's see what else we got going on. Not much. I've been going back and forth with Wolfie 6020 in the chat. Anytime someone mentions airplanes, Wolfie pops up, almost like he's under contract to do so. I don't know, crazy. Not very fruitful, but we can talk about that a little bit, and we'll see what's going on with everybody. Let's do that. Oh, actually, let me put my link here for the Streamlabs donation link is in the chat. Streamlabs cuts Google out of the middle and is much better for me. So selfishly, if you can use Streamlabs, please do. I will read your comment regardless of what you use. Super chat as well. Any support is appreciated, as always. Okay, let's go to Discord and see what's going on. Not much so far, sounds like. What's going on, guys?
What up?
What up? Jeremy, how you doing today, man?
Good.
Good.
Chilling.
Yeah, I was listening to you over at Gems about half an hour ago. Throwing down with those guys.
It's a matter.
Oh, shoot. You're roboting now. Oh, well. Paige, what's up, Paige?
Morning, Brandon. Not much, mate. How you doing?
Not too bad. It's nice and warm up here. How about down there?
Yeah, it's lovely here. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Good.
This morning, blue sky. They sprayed the crap out of us yesterday, so it's still a little bit milky, but looks like it might be a nice afternoon.
Yeah, it always ruins the nice days, doesn't it? See the straight lines in the sky, and you know it's going to be overcast that day or the next day.
In a couple of hours.
Yep. Just spreads out. It's like milky atmosphere. So
I think yesterday I counted 13 stripes in the sky at one time.
Do you live by an airport?
No, I live out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's weird, right? You makes you think.
Really
why
weird.
Would there be so many planes going over right here in different directions, almost like they have spread it out to cover the maximum amount of space, you know?
Yep.
Right.
I don't think I'm even in a path.
Sorry, say that again.
I said I don't think I'm even in a path, like a flight path of a, like going from Melbourne to Sydney or something.
Right.
Not just that it's all poison and stuff, it's partly to ionize the air for the communications, for radio, cell phones. That's why even remote places, they spray the piss out of it.
No, I've never heard of that.
That's an interesting thought, yeah.
Okay, and Jimbo, what's going on, Jimbo?
2 nice days in a row here. Snow is melting by the bucket. Like to see it that way.
Hell yeah, always a good sign. And Travis, how's it going, Travis?
Hello. What? Oh, Jeremy, check your DM.
And Car
Good
in
shit.
Kintiki. What's up?
Hello.
Oh, you're really low. Almost can't hear you low, but welcome to the show.
All right.
That's a little
Can
better.
you hear me now?
A little better.
All right. Yeah, it's Bluetooth. I hate these things.
All right, let me see what I can do on my side to turn you up a little bit. Here, say something else now.
I'm just gonna be pretty much just listening.
Just listen. Okay, no problem. You're more than welcome. And then
You know, the Bluetooth symbol is extracted from Norse gods and all those iconography.
no, I didn't know that.
Pretty wild. Yeah.
Can I just ask, is that guy, he doesn't happen to be Pi 373 or something, does he?
No, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
No? Okay, no worries. I was talking to somebody in another chat this morning and he was getting a bit triggered over the whole flat earth idea, so I invited him to come and watch the show and said, if you feel like talking, just hop on the Discord. And I thought, maybe, just maybe, we got a new guy in. I thought, oh, maybe it's him. But, oh, well.
Also in the show, Carlos Pagan. What's up, Carlos?
What's up, my contrailers?
Contrailers.
My chemtrailers.
Well, what do you think? What do you think they're doing? It's just a coincidence. I mean, you know that they have experiments and they've admitted that they're modifying the weather in some cases. So it's not like it's a crazy
They're
idea.
throwing up
But
tons of
That
aluminum,
doesn't
tons
mean
of
that the
barium.
contrails are chemtrails.
Look, the American aluminum company, Alcoa, tens of thousands of tons just over North America. They splash down barium and all kinds of stuff. You can take a tree and do metal assays on
that's
them,
what airliners are
and you
spreading.
have aluminum in all these trees and everything now, and barium and heavy metals. There's no reason for that. It's airborne. It's coming from aerosol sprays. It's landing on the ground and poisoning people and plants and life matter. It's the end of the story.
Listen, Carlos, listen. Don't get caught up in trying to poke fun at the fact that you don't think that airliners are doing it. Do your research. Look into, let's say. Oh, okay, thanks, great. I was just going to finish what I was saying. Okay, if that's okay with you. Look into a speech by Edward G. Griffin, where he discusses and talks about, with citations, the fact that they are finding these particulates of metal in snow high up in the mountains. Okay? So,
Cool.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so I want to understand how spreading these chemtrails with these metals is.
Okay, do your research. Okay, listen, first of all, I have no desire to have
research. I want to ask Jimbo.
Don't ask this question.
Said something regarding. I'm asking Jimbo. I'm not asking you. You go look at your.
No, you didn't say, "Hey, Jimbo, I have a question."
Well, if you let me finish the question, hear the relevance.
No. But my point was, you don't have any interest in learning, so your question is actually superfluous.
I do have interest in learning. I want to learn where he got that from. That the so-called chemtrails supposed to be out there to help radio transmission. Yes, I want to learn what his point of view is from that and the citation. Yes, I want to learn. That's why I'm here.
So, Carlos, if you want to do some research, just type in the name the David Keith Foundation. Okay, he's from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and he's heading the geoengineering program. Now, listen, I've reached out to Health Canada here in Canada personally. I've gotten emails from them regarding them personally working with the David Keith group. He's on record. Listen, Carlos, whether you like it or not, he's on record, on camera, David Keith. He is heading the geoengineering program. He's on camera.
Carlos.
He's on camera telling us that tens of thousands of people will die because of what they're doing in the skies. This comes out of his own mouth. Now go look it up. Harvard Institute has David Keith, part of the David Keith Foundation, Harvard Institute, are geoengineering. They talk about the program. They talk about what they're doing. They've been doing this since the 70s, bro. Controlling weather, flooding, causing
With
droughts.
airliners?
When any avionic technology
That's
they
not
have.
the point. Why don't you focus on the wrong
What's
point?
the guy's name?
They're doing it with submarines.
What's the guy's name,
That's the
Carlos?
claim. They claim.
What's the guy? Carlos, what's the guy's name I just told you? David Keith.
I couldn't care less.
Oh,
David
yeah.
Keith.
He just said he could
That would
care less.
proven he's
Get
not
the
here to
fuck-
learn.
Get the fuck out of here,
Submarines,
Carlos.
not
You're a
aircraft.
joke.
No,
Submarines.
I'm just trying to find out what Jimbo got that from.
No,
about
you're
the
not.
chemtrails
No, you're not.
stuff.
David just
Yes.
gave you information.
Well, no, but dang it, well, let him answer then, you morons. The heck is this?
Yeah, let's see what.
That's
Let's hear.
the only thing I'm
Let's hear what
interested
Jimbo
about.
has to say. Jimbo, go
That's the
go
only
ahead.
thing I'm interested about. I'm interested in one thing, and you guys get changing the conversation. I don't care. I'm trying to figure out how the chemtrail is supposed to help radio transmission, and the metal in the air is supposed to help that, and then the citations from that.
Ionized particles. I'll get something posted in the back chat.
Yeah, do that. I'm interested in that
So
one
you
too.
said-
That's the
so
first
that-
time I've ever heard that, to be honest with you.
Right. So they're putting metals in the air, Jimbo.
He said he's going to get us a citation.
Yes, Carlos.
Carlos.
Yes, you
Yes,
haven't done your
Carlos, yes.
research.
Yes, they are.
That's supposed to help radio.
So Carlos,
What's the
Don't
ionosphere,
engage this.
Carlos?
Don't engage Carlos. He's a fucking troll.
Oh
Get
my
out of here,
goodness, Why
Carlos.
you guys get so triggered? I'm
Because you're
over
a
here-
fucking troll.
because you're not being genuine, bro. We're actually giving
I
you
am.
real
I'm
data.
trying to-
No, you're not. I just asked you. I just asked you
how
if you
that
knew what the.
correlates to that.
I just asked you if you remembered his name. I just told you something you can fact check right
I
now.
don't care about who's
Yeah, exactly. You don't
I
fucking care. So listen,
Yeah,
it doesn't
I don't
matter
care.
what's in the
Very
sky
good.
at this point.
The
It doesn't
metal
matter what's-
and the
listen, it
atmosphere is
doesn't
supposed to
matter
help
what's in
radio
this-
propagation.
If you don't
guys
understand-
don't know
if
then.
you don't understand the
If you don't know,
basics-
you don't know then.
If you don't
That's all-
understand
that's
the
all I'm trying to
basics,
find out.
if you don't understand the basics,
I
you're gonna
don't-
run
I
around
understand that you keep
chasing
interrupting me.
your
That's what I
fucking
understand.
tail because you're not listening, punk. You're acting like a little
Carlos, you won't
punk.
even admit that it's happening. So why are you worried about why they're doing it when you won't even admit that it's actually happening? Like, learn that what's happening first, and then you can figure out why they're doing it.
Okay, well, let's say it's happening. How is that the metal in the air supposed to help propagation of radio?
Well, that's up to
That's
you
all I-
now to go and have a look at.
Why don't
Okay,
you go
well,
look at the
I'll-
Like you
science?
said, he'll
Now,
put something in chat.
let's
Yep,
do
he'll
some
put
logic.
something in chat for you, and you can go away and have a look at it.
Carlos, if they're blocking out the sun, because that's what they want to do, what impact do you think that'll have on vegetation and human life if you start blocking
Yes,
out the sun?
That would be very.
Who
very
gives a
negative.
fuck what they block it out with? They're blocking out the
We've
sun.
had the coldest summer this
Yeah,
summer.
I'm-
We've just had 3 months of
Yes,
summer
I
with
know-
like
oh my
maybe
God.
2 or 3 really hot days. When normally I'd have the air conditioner on all night at this time of year. I haven't had the air conditioner on once this whole summer.
It's global warming, Paige.
Hey,
Like,
global
yeah,
warming.
global warming. I am absolutely freezing. Got my winter jammies on in the mornings, my winter dressing gown in the middle of summer because it's so cold.
what's up, guys?
Bizarre.
Hey, what's going on, Don?
Hey, Doc.
Hey, have you heard? I don't know too much about it yet, so I'm not gonna accuse, but seems to appear Nathan just went MIA on Witsit with like $800.
Yeah, I've
Yep.
heard something's going on with those guys.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again.
Now McToon's now making a video about it and they're mocking it, like thinking it's funny.
Yeah, there's some drama going on between Nathan Thompson and Austin, and I have no idea what's going on. And I
neither.
don't want to get into.
I
the
thought
middle
you
of it
guys
either.
might maybe. Yeah, I don't want to get involved either. I don't want to just man. Witsit, he's a decent dude, man. I like Witsit though.
Money gets the worst of us. It's money.
I hate to say it, but Nathan has had a couple of instances where people have met up with him or whatever, and it's turned out bad. Like, it seems to happen to him a little bit more often than a normal person, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
Right.
I don't know.
He
I
was
don't know what's going on, but
just for the record,
No
Nathan
idea what's
Thompson was
happening.
talking to my brother for a long time over the phone. And yeah, he was hitting up for some cash. So yeah, it's a little sketchy sometimes, this Nathan guy.
Well, I like Whitsitt.
Oh,
That's why,
dear.
man. I really like Whitsitt. You know, he's a decent dude, man. He tried.
When he was doing that legal shield shit, you know, remember Nathan was doing that legal shield, come in and be a part of a legal organization, pay into it. That's when he first was going around promoting it. My brother got into it, started talking to him every day or every other day. Yeah, and it just turned out to be just a shit show. So
I don't remember anything about the legal shield. Was that before Flat Earth or?
Shocker.
no, that's right in the beginning of Flat
Was that
Earth.
after he left his other job or got fired or whatever? He was doing something with that legal.
He got fired from Legal Shield because somebody exposed him as a flat earther.
That's right.
Bro,
Yeah.
I
that's
wanna I wanna see what happens first before I make my conclusions. Maybe it's just to get Flat Earth. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on, and we'll figure it out later on.
It sounds
Hopefully,
like a dispute between two guys. You know, they could be
Yeah,
best friends
right.
next week. Who cares? You know, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea.
Well, they have a tour, right? You know about that, right?
I've
And
seen
they're having-
something. I haven't followed it. You know, I think I've seen a couple
Right.
of videos or something where they're saying they're on tour. I've heard they're traveling around Florida and stuff, but I haven't really kept up with it.
Ooh,
So I did look up that David Keith that you mentioned, Data, regarding geoengineering, and I found an interesting paper that he wrote. Might give people an idea of where this guy's coming from. It's called Quantifying the Impact of Sulfate Geoengineering on Mortality from Air Quality and UVB Exposure, where he's talking about, with a bunch of other doctors, the trade-off in lives that using geoengineering will cause, you know, when you look against theoretical deaths that would be caused by overheating, I guess, climate change. So these guys think they can control the climate and, you know, play God and, oh, well, if we do this, if we spray the skies with a bunch of shit or whatever they're talking about doing, then 13,000 less people will die.
But here's the thing. Here's the catch-22, right? They're spraying the skies so they can control the weather. So the catch-22 is they claim they need to spray the skies to control weather, but it's exactly what. Remember, it's always about projection. So exactly what they're saying, they're actually doing themselves. So they're the ones who are lying about the climate change and spraying the skies to alter the weather with lasers or whatever you want to, whatever they're using to disturb the energy in the atmosphere. They're spraying them.
People are.
Go ahead.
These people. I thought you were done. My bad. These people are idiots. They were worried about global cooling back in the 70s. Good thing they didn't do anything about that, I guess, huh?
Here's the thing, though. If you do look at modern science, what they're saying is that we're in a solar minimum. I've had this conversation before on this channel, which is bringing about colder temperatures, but yet the narrative is hot, 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 right? So they're claiming the reverse is happening. So maybe they're going to say, hey, guys, we sprayed the atmosphere. We did all this, and look, the Earth is cooler now, right?
Well, I don't think they know what the fuck they're talking about, but they do admit in here that says, as such, we estimate that sulfate geoengineering in 2040 would cause 26,000 early deaths annually, and
about sickness
relative to the same year without geoengineering. So they are literally admitting here that yes, what we're going to do is going to kill people, but other people aren't going to die for other reasons.
They have a death number. How about how many people are going to get sick from this? And you know, the medical.
And spend all their money on medication. Yeah.
Good question, because they mentioned that.
Alive.
They mentioned that. This says these results account only for impacts due to change in air quality. They do not account for non-mortality impacts or changes in atmospheric dynamics, and must be considered in the wider context of other climate change. So this is all tied up in political climate change bullshit.
So people are going to get sick. They're going to need.
How dare you, Brendan?
Oh gosh!
Just real quick. Just real quick. We have to understand that the political realm is the realm of a corporation. Okay, as Data said, their misdirection is to point the finger at us because we're driving too much. We're creating all these carbon footprints. Blah blah blah. When they're the ones who are manufacturing and continuing to industrialize rainforest area, all of that stuff, right? So,
and suppressing free electricity and energy.
Hold on, just real quick. Yeah, right. Yeah, just real quick. So the thing is that the United States is a corporation. It was incorporated back in 1871. It is a business. I do not live in a country. I live in a corporation of which, on paper, I am an employee called a citizen. All of their decisions, all of the politicians' decisions are for the corporation, for profit, not for me. I have nothing to do with their decisions. So I get triggered on this shit, but we need to just understand that everything that they're doing,
you're 100% right.
Everything that they're doing about weather control, that's not for us. It is not for us.
If they really wanted to do something, they should start enforcing a non-planned obsolescence law, because that's what's killing us right there. We're making these products that are designed to break, and then we're shipping tons of them, having tons of people go to work to make these. It's just a waste of. It's totally inefficient. It's ridiculous.
I mean, one of the most basic things they could do is plant food-bearing trees instead of ornamental trees everywhere, but they don't, because then, somebody, a greengrocer or something, might not make as much money because people wouldn't have to buy as much stuff. So it's not about us or whether we're well-fed or whatever. It's about money, making money.
Yeah, they don't want you healthy and fit and able to just go pick free food everywhere. They want you spending money in the grocery store. That's tax money. Every dollar you spend in a grocery store gets taxed.
I mean, I understand that it's us that have those jobs, but, if we were to create environments where some of those jobs are not necessary because people have the ability to do those sorts of things for themselves, then it wouldn't matter,
They're making us work just to keep us busy. More tax money, more money they need. You need to drive your car to go to work so they can get tax the gasoline that you use, and you need to buy a new car. They need to
and
keep
they
us
also
busy,
need
keep
us
us always
to
moving.
die as early. Like they want us to live as long as possible, but live unhealthily, so that we're constantly needing their medications and that kind of thing. And then, they get rid of as many of us, with war and stuff like that, so that you never go back to being the creditor of your estate, and the Vatican ends up with all of your birthright inheritance, all the energy and mineral wealth of the country you were born in. So,
yeah, not only that, but if we understand the construct of the straw man, where they use our birth certificate and any other documents that we sign as commodity for them on the stock market, it is alleged as well that they have life insurance policies taken on every single one of us, because we are an investment. We are a commodity. We are an asset. So they have insurance taken out on us, so that when we die, they claim the insurance and get paid.
It's pretty sick.
I found another article here, just for those who deny that they are indeed injecting things into the atmosphere to control the weather. It's titled, "The U.S. government has approved funds for geoengineering research." It's from technologyreview.com, which is an MIT website, I believe. And it says right here that the Congress approved $4 million for NOAA, and I'm sure there's much more money flying around there, probably within the defense budget. But this was specifically for the assessment of solar climate interventions, which that's another thing that bothers me about this, is the use of these terms, and including proposals to inject material into the stratosphere to affect climate. Now, you tell me how else you inject material into the stratosphere besides spraying the skies.
Submarines. Carlos. Right, Carlos? You didn't know if it was planes or not? It's submarines.
Bird poop.
Oh, you got me. Bird poop. Yep, that's true. Sounds like a plan they'd come up with. We'll feed the birds a bunch of this stuff, and then we'll
Do you guys know
Fly
that
around and
Lyndon
poop
B.
all
Johnson?
over.
Did you know that Lyndon B. Johnson was the first guy, one of the first guys to talk about controlling the weather in a 1950s speech? What do you call it? The ceremony when you get graduated, whatever that's called there. I can't. What do you call it? Graduation. Anyway, he's there, but he's the president of the United States. This guy was he whipped out his pecker everywhere he went. Do you guys know that about Lyndon B. Johnson? The same guy that's talking about chemical yeah. Lyndon B. Johnson whipped out his pecker all the time to people. Yeah, his bodyguards, women. He just whipped out his dick all the time. Funny enough, his name is Lyndon B. Johnson. But yeah, so he's one of the first presidents.
Coincidence.
He's one of the first presidents to talk about controlling the weather. So let me ask you a question: how do you control the weather, guys?
Submarines.
With HARP.
No
Okay,
idea.
so HARP produces what? Electromagnetic frequencies, and then a submarine does what?
I was joking with a submarine.
Ah, okay.
Because Carlos was saying, how are they doing that? Airplanes? Aircraft?
Well, seeding
Yeah, it wouldn't be a submarine under the water, would it? Yeah.
Seeding is nothing new, right? So they've done seeding thousands of years ago. They were doing seeding, I suppose, by putting balloons up in the air, supposedly so this is nothing new. They knew they could take the moisture out of the air, and they knew they could put moisture in the air. So what else are they doing besides that mechanism of introducing moisture and removing moisture? What else can they do? Because really, that's all I can
And
do.
why aren't they using that to actually help us? Like, it seems that the only things we ever hear are these massive floods and stuff that have happened, whereas there's places in the middle of Australia that could use that rainfall.
They did tell you. They put it on the stock market. Apparently, you can trade the weather now. I'll go find the ticker for you. But they're one of the rich CEOs about 5-6 years ago saying that we're planning on being able to trade on the weather. So they're telling you everything they're doing.
You can pay for certain weather, I've heard. You can pay for
weddings and stuff.
To have a clear day, or
I'll do it for 90 right now.
The seeding thing is not new. That's the thing. It's not new. It's not privy to industrial revolution time. You can read back in history for farming. I don't know what they did, but the seeding thing is not new. So
yeah, Whitesword says he's down in Australia too. Says our water department has been using atmospheric aerosolization. That's a tough word to get out. For years now to keep rainfall over the catchment area. We are the driest state in the driest continent.
Well, you know, a third of the food I think is grown in Cali, right? And they're constantly having droughts out there.
Oh, hell yeah, they are. Yeah, big time. Years.
Oh, God forbid they built a pipeline with water in it. They'll build one for oil.
Yeah. Yep.
Water's not really worth it.
Yeah, they could do that with water. They could plant fruit trees in every school. They could, any orphanage or whatever. But no, they won't do anything that helps us.
No, they don't give a fuck about us. They don't care. They just want to make money and keep us under their thumb.
Yeah, there are some people out there who are genuinely trying to do things to improve, but at the macro level, I have no faith in any of our institutions whatsoever.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, there's little people out there trying to help.
Right. Like, try to think of one. Try to think of a government agency, I don't care what country, that you have faith in, that you are proud of. Can you think of one?
Russia.
Proud of? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I can say that working with special needs, and sometimes the Canadian government, the way they set up for special needs, these kids, look, put it this way, these kids that are special needs sometimes have 8 to 20 grand in their bank account just sitting there because the government just hand over cash fist to these workers. So all these special needs workers manage all these accounts for these special needs people, and they're fucking loaded. So if I look at that, I think the government Canada takes care of the special needs exceptionally well here in Canada, and that's the only thing I can see. But it's
you gotta understand that it's still for their benefit, right? They're making more. They're making more, so they're going to give you. They're robbing Peter to pay or benefit Paul. So their taxes on you, the like Paige mentioned, when we get sick, and we go to Big Pharma, they're making more money on Big Pharma. The fact that they're throwing some disabled person a stimulus check every month, right? And when I was married, I had 2 nephews that were both damaged with by vaccines. They get like a very nice check every month from the government, but the government is making more on the pharmaceuticals that they go to. So it's just a circulation.
Oh,
Just real quick. So here's the idea. Here's $2,000 because you have a disabled child and he can't work, and we're going to help you. And then you're going to go pay $750 a month for pharmaceuticals. It's just money laundering. That's all it is.
You're exactly right, and I expressed this just the other day to some workers, because the workers keep, now not all of them, but the premise of all this money is to keep the economy going. It's keeping cash liquid, because who spends a lot of this money? The workers do. The kids need extra things. And not only on top of these, most of these kids that I run into, they have TVs, the newest Sony PlayStation, the old Sony PlayStation, the old Sony PlayStation before that. So yes, the government appropriates this kind of money because they know it will be spent into the economy via these workers.
Honestly, so they should have all those things, because if not for the government harming them, they would be normal, productive members of society.
No, this is FEA, FES. This is fetal alcohol syndrome, fetal alcohol effects.
Oh, sorry, I thought.
Yeah, this is not
Travis
vaccine.
said about the vaccines was what you
No,
were. Oh, okay.
I deal with FEA and FES and FEA type injuries, and there are some people who have FEA, fetal alcohol effects, that actually look normal, but they just can't pull the string. They can't tie the shoelace. Yeah, they just can't tie the shoelace. They look normal. They can talk to you and laugh and watch TV and play video games like they're normal. But any kind of exercise mentally, it's too much for them. So, but yeah, in that institute, in that regard, they do spoil these kids with tons of money, and it's just coming from taxpayers. But I see it as, hey, I'm going to give a ton of this money away because I know it's going to come back into the economy.
Hey guys,
they're not going to save it.
We found something here that might make you guys feel better. The Keith Group, the Harvard Institute, put out a little blurb. They said, chemtrails conspiracy theory. We have not seen any credible evidence that chemtrails exist. If we did see any evidence that governments were endangering their own citizens in the manner alleged in the chemtrails conspiracy, we would be eager to expose and stop any such activities.
So that
even though they just said that they were chemtrailing and that people were going to die?
Yeah, we're alleging exactly what they've admitted to. So how are they not doing what we're alleging when we're alleging exactly what they said they're doing?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to reconcile that with this paper that's written that says, we are going to cause additional deaths. Now, we can have an argument over about this idea of the greater good, whether you should have, if you can take action that's going to kill tens of thousands of people, but it's going to save more people, is it the right action to take?
Well, you can never know for sure if it was going to kill those 10,000 people in the first place, can you?
That's the
problem,
right?
They're just assuming, with their mathematical models, they're creating scenarios, getting the AI to figure out what might happen, but they don't have a crystal ball. There's no way of knowing 100% for sure.
Right. And it's so political too. The whole climate change thing is obviously used as a wedge issue. Not just in the United States, but all over the Western world.
It's all filibustering, right? Hey, Keith or David Keith. Hey, write this article. Here's $100,000 for your building. It's all filibustering. Yeah. Anyway, just because Harvard, right? Okay, think about this, guys. Just think about the trajectory of our classical schools. Harvard was originally a seminary. A conservative, just like Yale. These colleges were all religious-based, conservative institutions that all got taken over by Rockefeller and all those other guys, and now they are completely on the liberal campaign. So, yeah, of course, an affiliate with Harvard is gonna promote the same thing that Harvard does. It's just circle jerking. I mean, the fact that whoever posted that in the chat is like, oh, here's something where he said it. There's no such thing. Yeah, you think? Come on.
Right.
Yeah, they also say the Earth's a globe. Like,
well, and this is how they define chemtrails too. I mean, so okay, maybe what they're defining here, they have no evidence of, but listen to how they define it. So this is what they're saying doesn't happen. Chemtrails refers to the theory that governments or other parties are engaged in a secret program to add toxic chemicals to the atmosphere from aircraft in a way that forms visible plumes in the sky, somewhat similar to contrails. Various different motivations for this alleged spraying are speculated, including sterilization, reduction of life expectancy, mind control, or weather control. Now, first of all, you've defined it so narrowly, and you've made a straw man out of the whole issue, and then you're going to deny that you have any knowledge of the straw man happening. First of all, fine. But how would you know if there was a government secret program? How the fuck would you know that? They're going to come out and tell
Richards
the Keith
just
group?
told us.
that's why it's secret.
This Keith guy just told us there was. Didn't he say they're doing it?
Yeah, he said that they're talking about trading off lives here. That it is going to have a negative impact on some people, and it's going to cause them to die, and it's going to cause other people to live. That's what we're talking about. And if this truly is the best thing to do, I think Whitesword had a good point. There should be a public discussion. This should be disclosed. This borders on
because we breathe that air too.
Yeah, this borders on human experimentation, which is strictly
It doesn't
outlawed.
border on it. Is, Brandon. It is human experimentation because we all breathe this air. None of us are able to remove ourselves from that experiment. So whatever is going to happen, we have absolutely no way of controlling it. So we are literally lab rats.
They should just wait until we start a colony on Mars. That way people could choose to escape if they want.
If you look at, respiratory problems.
Well, they can do it there. Leave us alone.
They're way up, There's no reason for people's health in the level of breathing to go down literally collectively, like in Quebec and other places. The asthma rates and everything, they're just out to lunch. And it's not diet, it's the air, it's what's going on. You don't get a lot of people sick from the lungs without it being something airborne. It's something that's common to everyone are all these chemtrails. And they really are taking a toll. Someone's sick in a household, it costs that much extra to, support them. It ruins economies, it ruins households, it ruins everything. So it's a way of keeping everyone down. Keep a few people sick in every house, you got it made.
Anyway, okay, so one thing I did want to talk about, other than this interesting topic. I only know so much about it, but it is an interesting topic. Wolfie has been commenting on yesterday's video. And he linked me some videos that say, this has proof in it. I explained it. How come you guys don't understand? I explained it, how planes work on a globe. And then he says within those videos is evidence. All he shows that I could see in those videos is that planes make corrections when they fly. And then he points to the corrections and he said, see those corrections? Some of those corrections are because the Earth is a ball. That is not evidence. That's not what we were talking about yesterday. That's not what we're looking for. There's nothing that you can show us with your plane that will provides any evidence that falsifies a flat plane or supports that it's flying over a round rotating Earth. That's what we're talking about. You haven't provided that. And then he goes on to say that EQ mounts prove the globe, which is ridiculous. So he's still stuck in the past pretty concretely.
Yeah, see, somebody could point to the exact same thing that he gave you and say, see those adjustments? Those are because of the wind that day. I mean, it's the same amount of evidence. You could say anything you wanted about those adjustments. That doesn't prove anything.
Yeah,
Those
exactly.
adjustments are from the invisible unicorns flapping their wings, causing wind to make the plane move. There you go.
Yeah, you have to give us something that would be only on a globe, that this would only happen on a globe, and tie it concretely to the fact that the Earth is a globe or it's rotating. You haven't done it. You can't do it. You can only sit there and point to things like making adjustments and then proclaim that those adjustments are made because we're on a globe. That's all you're doing. You're just proclaiming it.
Baseless assertion shit. They do this all day. It happened to me in Gems fucking an hour ago.
Yeah. And then they want to start off a sentence with, on a flat Earth, XYZ. You don't get to pick our model for us. You don't get to come up with a straw man and then falsify the straw man. You don't get to do that. Oh, anyway. Anybody else think anything else about the whole plane flight proof number 15?
I think Rumpus could have. Listen, Rumpus could have been right last night. If you on the globe model, if you fly 1 mile and drop 8 inches, are you at the same elevation you were before?
Yeah.
On the globe model, yeah.
Yeah. So you need to drop 8 inches every mile.
Right. Right.
That's not the thousands of feet that, you know, a minute that people are saying. I don't know.
That's right, because the time frame that you say, if you say a minute, a half minute, an hour, a second, it frames it in a particular way.
This has nothing to do with time, though. You fly a mile. I don't care if it takes you an hour or 1 second. You fly a mile, you drop 8 inches, you're at the same altitude on the globe model.
Yeah, yeah.
It has nothing to do with time. And it's the same every time. Every mile.
Which is the same as flying over a flat stationary Earth. It's the same action. It's the same motion. It's the same elevation. They have all of their bases covered, people. We have to stop arguing about these tertiary points that they get us all caught up in. Okay? We need to stick to provable, like last night when I was having a conversation with Howard, and he made a claim about level. And I said, show me the measurement of water curving, right? Those are the things that we need to focus on. Those tangible, empirical, demonstrable issues. Not this whole flying over a curve, because it's not curved.
Well,
so don't, you know.
I think that's what we're pointing out, though, Travis, is that there is no tangible, empirical evidence involving air flight that they can point to.
I get you. Right.
They got nothing.
I get you.
You know, just like measuring water. It's the same thing with measuring water. It's just kind of another form of measuring the curve, and they got nothing.
Well, wouldn't you be able to tell on an airplane if the angles? They definitely need to change make an angle change over the course of their travels. So,
oh yeah,
When the gyro give us an angle, when the gyro give us that angle change, or no?
Well, we don't see the gyro while we're in the airplane, right? But if you've flown,
the gyro will not give you the 1 degree per 70-hour bullshit. Doesn't think on its own. It only has one job, and that's to show to show the aircraft's pitch in 3D space. Nothing to do with Earth shape. Doesn't give a fuck about the shape of the Earth. The gyro is solely meant for the aircraft itself. That's it. And the pendulous vanes are for any kind of velocity changes, heavy wind, banking left and right. It's nothing to do with the rotation of the Earth. Nothing to do with
right. Yeah, it's
none of that shit.
Yeah, it's to correct being disrupted with turbulence or whatever. How do we get that?
That's all it is. And it's vacuum-driven tubes. That one of the vacuum line is shorter than the other, then it corrects itself. That's all it is. It's vacuum-driven shit. Nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. It's to show the pitch of the aircraft in 3D space. That's all it's designed to do.
Is there any experiment we can do with plane gyros that you can think of, Data, that would falsify one or the other model?
Okay, so if anybody looks at a drone in itself, if you're going to have a drone connect, like basically, if you take a gyro and put it over a curved surface, it will show the degree of angle, right? We know that. We hold a gyro, we move it along the surface of a sphere, it's going to change angle, right? But in reality, we don't have that change in angle in a gyro. It doesn't change. You don't go from one side of the earth to the upside down and the gyro shows it. But you can hold a gyro to a surface of a sphere and it will show it, right?
Why doesn't it show it though? Isn't it supposed to remain rigid in space?
Well, the housing will rotate, but the gyro will stay in rigidity. So if you move the gyro along the sphere, the housing will change, indicating the angle, right? Because the gyro is meant to stay in that position, and as you move, the housing moves around the gyro. Do you understand?
Yeah. So if I'm at the North Pole and I fly down to the equator, I'm flying south. That ball will remain in the same relative position, but I'll see it'll look like it turned a quarter turn to me, right?
What are you talking about? The gyro will look like it's precessed to you?
It'll look like it precessed, yeah, like a quarter turn.
Okay, so here's the thing when you read the manual in precession for gyros. One of the factors of precession is the actual mechanism itself rotating. That causes a form of precession. Now, how do you separate the difference between mechanical precession and earth rotation causing the precession? I'd love to know, because the manual doesn't specify. It only infers that the precession is caused by a Coriolis, right? That's what they claim it is in the manual. But then they give you another definition of mechanical precession, right?
Right.
Which is the mechanics of the gyro. So if the mechanics of the gyro naturally precesses from its own mechanism, then how do you isolate the difference between Coriolis causing the precession and the mechanism causing the precession?
Well, we would know. My bad.
There's no known procedure that I know in any manual that you can deduce the difference from.
I know how we could tell the difference. We could bring a ring laser gyro up on top of a mountain and see if it sticks to 15 degrees an hour or not. And then
a ring laser gyro is an optical gyro, right? Works off of light like the interferometer. What do you think moves on our Earth? The body of the Earth or the rotation of the heavenly bodies?
I don't know, but that's how you debunk the notion that it's Earth rotation.
No, you look at the interferometer itself, which is the laser gyro is an interferometer. It works off of, instead of tubes of vacuum, they use tubes of light. And it's the same as the Michelson-Morley, as if the one beam doesn't fit it with the other beam. It's the same procedure. It's the same Michelson-Morley experiment, just put into the small gyro form. So if it's the same mechanism and they're not counting for Earth rotation physically, but then you look at the heavenly bodies and you find out the interferometer is working off of light, well, what's moving? It's the light that's moving that we can observe. So you're going to infer the light moving is Earth rotation? Well, that's what they've been doing this whole time.
So
it's really not hard to analyze this and break it down. I think it was maybe back in 2019 I looked over the gyro compass. Went online, did a live stream, and just did a Google search and started reading through shit. And I broke it down as far as I could understand it, because I had never looked into it. So I went and looked into it. Not one time, except for Blue Marble Science, and he and I had a discussion on it. But anyone else in the comments, they had no helpful criticism. All they did was mock the fact that, oh, you can't even understand what you're reading, blah, blah, blah. But I'm breaking it down, showing, what Brandon was just saying about the housing and the gyro. So they draw this picture of the globe, and they have a ship at 0 degrees at the North Pole. And then they put that ship at 40 degrees and 80 degrees and 120 degrees, and they show the housing moving, but the gyro is staying rigid. I'm like, that, so you're saying that that's what happens? But when you go over the ocean, your housing never does that. It's just like saying that you are flying at the same elevation or the same altitude, with your airplane. If you keep that same altitude, the gyro's not going to move. It's never going to move, even though you've gone 90 degrees on the globe. Why doesn't it move? Well, it must be in lockstep with the
Because
atmosphere.
you haven't.
Right.
You haven't gone 90 degrees on the globe.
Yeah, that's the answer. But I'm saying that it's very easy to debunk. Things that we know and understand on the small scale that we can do in our backyard, in our bedroom, in our kitchen, whatever. That small shit right there debunks all of this math and speculation and all of these field manuals and blah 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 to tell you what they do.
It's so bad
That's
that
why they
Blue-
hate us so much.
the last conversation I had with Blue, or the response Blue gave, was that pendulous veins correct for the 1 degree. That's why they're in the gyro. I have not found any literature from the beginning of time regarding a gyro and the 1 degree precession, and then the pendulous veins being created for it. So the fact that this grown man will come out and lie like that, it's gross. It's nauseating.
Talking
and
about
gross.
Blue Marble?
Yeah,
He's a
he said
fucking
that.
idiot.
He said
He's
that the
an
pendulous veins were invented so that because the Earth, it dips down 1 degree, whatever, 70 miles. So the pendulous veins correct for it.
So that's the claim
It's
that's
just-
Blue Marble
still
doesn't
going
even
around,
know what
Data.
contain-
And Whitesworth came up with an experiment, very simple. Get 2 of these gyros, spin them up, go a long distance, and cover the or disable the pendulous veins in one, and keep them active in the other one, and see what the difference is.
Yeah, the pendulous veins again are meant to correct any kind of velocity change. So if you're moving the gyro, it's going to be subjected to velocity change.
Oh,
You understand?
okay.
So you're going to need something to correct for that.
Yeah, it keeps
And
it
then-
down
and
anyway,
then-
right? So it'll
And then-
screw it all up.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, it's look, they navigated aviation back in the day with the basic mechanical gyro. Okay, there was no thought of Earth rotation, no thought of none of that shit during the operation.
Right.
So just look at earlier aviation, 30s, 40s, 50s. It's mechanical gyro, and even today on the big motherships, they have mechanical gyros because they're reliable. They work off of air pressure. That's it.
I still think
So it's just
it'd be worth doing.
You look at what the gyro's designed to do. It's designed to create its own rigidity in 3D space.
Right.
When you say own rigidity, that means it's own. It's independent of anything. That's what it's designed to do via the angular momentum the disk spins at. I mean, it's not rocket science to think what's creating the horizontal path. It's the angular momentum of the disk. Well, that creates a rigidity. That rigidity you can use that rigidity to measure against. That's the whole point of the tool, is to measure against that rigidity.
Right. And that has nothing to do with gravity, right?
What acting force is on it then? If it's on a bar and it's rotating, what acting force is gravity applying to the gyro? What is it? If it's creating its own rigidity, what outside forces are acting on it?
That's what I'm asking. Is there outside forces acting on it? If it's rigid in space, then
if it's rigid in space,
impact it as far as moving it around, right?
Well, what force is acting on it if it's creating its own?
Yeah. Okay.
It's creating its own. So how does gravity play into part to it?
I don't know. I'm just asking a question. No idea.
Well, wouldn't it be the same as a projectile, right? So we're talking about you have a BB gun, and you pump it 10 times. It's only going to go so far. It's going to start to drop sooner than a 22, or a 30-30, or a 40-30.
How does that work with a gyro?
No. I'm saying in terms of the unit itself, right? If you don't have a mechanical gyro where you maintain its rigidity in space, like a spinning top, right? It's only going to stay rigid in space because it has a certain amount of momentum on its angular circuit, right? As it spins, then it's going to wobble and then it's going to fall over. So I guess all I was trying to express was what you made me think of, and that is the fact that the only force that is exhibited on these things exist within themselves.
They're creating their own force. That's correct.
Yes,
yeah.
Correct. Right.
You mean when something falls to the ground, it's creating its own force? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
Yeah.
we're talking about the gyro.
Well, okay, yeah, but still, yeah, you're right. It's the weight. What made that coconut fall?
That's what I've always thought too. Is that that force is in the object itself. That negates needing an outside force. Then it's just a matter of directionality. Why do things go up and go down, not sideways?
Well, see, the thing that I remember in grade school, just real quick, the thing that I remember in grade school about Newton wasn't orbital mechanics. I remember learning simply how to push a block. You know, if you have a 100-pound block and you want to move it 10 feet, you've got to exert force. So I never remember orbital mechanics being a part of my understanding of Newton. It was always just basic physics.
Yeah, relative density is why things go up or down.
I understand, but why do they go up or down, not go sideways?
Because they're subjected to a force, a pressure force, right? And in the case of atmosphere, it's in all directions. So if you have a balloon that has a lighter gas in it, it's going to push from all directions, like squeezing a zit upward. So it's a pressure force pushing. Right?
Why upward?
Surrounding it. Well, because of the gas in itself is less
electricity.
Well, it's a possibility that gas does operate.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Absolutely, but at the end of the day, the gas itself is measured to be less dense. So if you have a more dense medium pushing on the less dense,
Earth being the ground is what sets you up and down.
Yeah, this dielectric energy, incoherent dielectric energy. I'm on the fence about that shit.
The ballers would say, Data, that the gyro is subject to gravity, and here's what I'm going to tell you: the ballers are going to say.
I know they would. And then I asked them
just real quick. I didn't even.
And then I asked them, where do you detect the force?
You can listen. You can spin up a gyro.
Where do you detect the force, bro?
Hold the top trimble by your two fingers, right? And you can move it side to side, right? And it remains rigid in space. But if you drop it, it'll go to the ground. You know, that's what they're going to come up with.
Yeah, sure. At the end of the day, again, it's just another red herring. It's not the actual conversation, though, is it?
Absolutely. So let's put that gyro on a helium balloon, right, and just see what happens. You know, as it goes.
What would that do?
Well, that wouldn't do fuck all, dude.
Well, it would definitely not be subject to any type of downward motion, right? You know. So let's say that helium balloon traveled from LA to New York, right? And the rotor was able to keep spinning. What kind of precession would we see in?
You would only see it if there was a wind gust, you know, if there was a wind gust and the housing moved or whatever. And you could see that, right? You could measure that. If you set up what you were saying, Aaron, if you set up a contraption that has all of these, measurement devices.
Travis, the helium balloon would be attached to, I think it's called a trimble, the very outside axes of a mechanical gyro, right? The part you set the gyro on a string, but the top part instead of the bottom, you know, that one. So if it's a globe or whatever, and the helium balloon travels all the way across the U.S. over to New York, right? The allegedly the helium balloon is now at some sort of arced curvature, but where's the rotor? The rotor remains rigid in space.
So you guys are talking about the balloon going up dielectric electricity, or whatever you want to call it, static electricity. There is a differential pressure in our atmosphere that if you introduce anything that is related to the gas of that atmosphere, it will displace that space. If you're going to displace that space, you're going to put a pressure in it. If that pressure is weaker than the pressure around it, then it will be pushed up, not pushed down, because it's a gas. Now, the solid object always has kinetic energy placed into it by pressure. Whoever picks that object up is applying kinetic energy into that object. It means overpowering the pressure it already exerts in its equilibrium. In other words, that particular object has a pressure force within the medium subjected to the pressure that it's displacing. So the pressure around it isn't great enough to counteract its pressure, therefore it displaces the pressure around it. We pick it up, applying pressure to that product or the object, overriding its displacement pressure even more, providing kinetic energy to that object. So we are the cause for things falling down. There is no biases.
What do you mean there's no
The
bias?
object-
There is a down direction. There
There
is
is
an up direction.
there's no bias though. It's just our construct of bias.
Things don't go
The idea that
sideways. They don't move when you let them go
Sure they do.
lateral to the earth.
Sure they do. You can project it sideways. There's no bias.
But it doesn't fall sideways.
No, because
I mean, you ever see a
you're applying a vector to it. So when you pick something up, you're applying a vector to it. You're applying a direction to it by going up.
If I hold it
So
still,
light.
okay. How can I apply? How can I do something to the rock that applies a vector, a sideways vector to it to make it go lateral to the surface of the earth?
You throw it. You throw it to a sideways
But
vector.
I can't
You
drop
create
it.
the
There's no way
vector.
I can drop it, and it'll
But
do that, right?
are you able to pick up things sideways? No, you cannot. You can only pick them up from one vector.
That's my point.
So if you pick them up yeah, exactly. But that vector is not biased because you think it's biased due to gravity. You're the one causing the displacement. So there is no magical vector. You're the one removing it from one position, creating a vector, and then releasing it, creating another vector. That's it.
Go light something on fire and see where the smoke goes. It's going to go up and it's going to go sideways. You know, it's going to spread out up top.
It's just the
It's not
wind,
going-
man.
it's
Come
not
on,
just
man.
going-
Come on, brother. Just the wind, dude.
But there is an up and a down. Things fall out, they fall down, and they go up.
But it's not bias. The person who is inventing gravity wants a bias.
I know they want a
So they
bias. I'm not saying it's caused
Yeah,
by
but-
gravity.
But we're creating the vector. We are creating the vector by removing anything in its state of displacement, right?
What about a
any-
rock fall? What about a rock fall?
Okay, so it's separating from a mountain and it's already up at a space where all that kinetic energy was provided already.
So
we're going to fall.
created
that vector, right?
Yeah, but here we go. So if we have a coconut tree that is at a 35-degree angle, okay, and there's a coconut up at the top, when it falls, it's not going to fall at a 35-degree angle. It's going to fall 90 degrees.
Yeah, and that because that plant put all the kinetic energy into grow sideways, so that at that elevation, that thing is going to fall downward, but it's still going up.
Where's the
Just
zero
because-
energy then? Like you said, it provided all the energy.
Yeah.
So we're gaining in energy as the coconut. tree
Anytime
grows. I get it.
anytime
where's
there's
zero?
transfer of energy, a tree is going to grow, a human's going to grow, a car is going to move. Things are going to
We're talking
fall
about
because it's a
trees, we're talking about
transfer
trees
of
and rocks
energy.
now. We're not talking
It's a
about
transfer of energy. So if you're going to have an object having energy transferred to it, creating a vector, then it has to go the opposite of that vector.
Well, that's fine.
That's
that,
not-
that things have a you're transferring energy. That's fine. I understand. You're picking something up. You're displacing it from its equilibrium, right? But when you let that thing go, like Travis said, I thought that was a good point. It's always going to go 90 degrees to the surface of the Earth,
But
or
then again,
90 degrees up.
Again, the natural law is you pick things straight up in that vector. Why are you picking things up? Why can't you pick them sideways then?
Okay, I just picked something up sideways and I dropped it and it went down.
You how did you pick up something sideways?
It was sitting on my desk. I moved my hand over to where my desk
You
was,
still
and
have
I
to
let
lift
it go.
So you had a base ground and you slid it sideways.
I slid it sideways off of the desk and then I dropped it.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. So the vector, the displacement was stopped by your table, right?
Well, displacement, it's always stopped by something, but if it's not stopped, Data, it's going to go down 90 degrees. It's going to continue to go down.
That's because it went up straight. It will go down straight. So there's no magicalness to it. It's the byproduct of introducing energy and the energy transferring. So if you pick it up, you're transferring energy, you're letting it go, the energy's going down. Why you equate it's going down is years of programming about why things fall. Let's conjure up a mass attracting mass.
Well, no, I think all that's bullshit.
Right.
That was my original point. Is I think that resides in the object itself. We don't need any outside force.
No, there's no magical
But-
force to it. It's just
The only question is, and this is where I guess we got our point of contention is, why do things go down and go up? You know, there certainly does seem to be an order to the face of the earth, and that order is, things they order themselves according to their relative density on the face of the Earth, and up and
Yeah,
down 90 degrees.
it makes easy sense, or it makes sense. Sorry, go ahead.
If things fell sideways, we wouldn't even be here to talk about this because everything would be falling around all fucking silly.
Yeah, I mean, why would you design a place where things just move in all fucking direction? There's no order to it. You have to have order, right?
Yeah, if there was no order,
There's no bias to down. It's just the displacement energy that is transferred from one point to another, and that displacement is subjected to the medium. In other words, the denser the medium, the slower the downward vector. The less the medium, the faster the downward vector. The point is, it's just a transfer of energy. And if you're going to say that it's a bias down, then all matter should go bias.
No, not a bias down. Not a bias down, because you're right. It all orders itself according to its relative density, the medium it's in, its hardness, whatever. Right? Those factors. There's no bias for it because it's all relative to, its surroundings. But if something is displaced, if it is in disequilibrium, if it becomes in disequilibrium, it is going to go down, perpendicular to the face of the Earth, or up.
Only because
the fact that a plant grows up and its seeds fall down, I think is perfect. This repetition over and over, it's just that plant grows up, seeds fall down, is perfect. It's order, and it's what.
Yeah, I mean, think about that, right? Yeah, so there are certain flora that get pollinated by insects. So they're not seed based, right? It's all pollinated. So you have to then transfer it from one to the next. Some plants disperse their seeds by being like little briars, and they get caught in animals' fur and blah blah blah. But if you think about fruit, the only way that you're going to get more fruit trees is if the seed drops from the source, right? I mean, so that's just so instead of saying bias and whatnot, it's a law. It's not a bias.
Yeah. It's a natural,
fucking natural law. There's no bias. There's no favoritism. There's no choice. I mean, just think about starting over from scratch. No one sees anything go up except for the sun or the moon or whatever. But if a bird
smoke from a fire.
Hold on. If a bird goes up, it's creating that motion. But all outside of fire, Jeremy, right? Because who knows when fire was started. But my point is that all of our observations are things fall down. So whenever a baller says, why do things fall down? I say, what direction would you expect them to fall? Like, where's your evidence they should go anywhere else? It's the dumbest question in the world. Well, if there's no gravity, why do things fall down? Where else are they going to go?
I'm perfectly happy to be orientated in an up-down fashion, which goes directly along with nature. Thank you. Right. So I'm not all confused and, living sideways and shit, as everything else in nature is up and down. That's it.
Yeah, like if things fell sideways, we never would have been able to have light. Like, how would you even? It just wouldn't work if you fell sideways. You'd have coconuts around like idiots all day.
Yeah, you'd have coconuts blasting you in the face at the beach, right?
We'd just be sliding around like Mario on ice all day or something.
All we'd be doing is just letting things go to hitting each other.
That's dodging shit left and right? We'd be like bobbing and weaving.
Picking your nose and just fucking letting the booger fall over to the other person.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Naps has had a long enough 20 seconds to think of something to talk about. 'Cause she's sitting here, It's almost been 24 hours, Naps. Have you thought about anything to say to this panel?
Hey,
say something smart, Naps.
Well, that is a good, and I'm open to changing the subject and letting it go wherever Naps wants. If there's a topic that you want to discuss, we just solved the question of gravity, so let's move on to something else.
Boom. Yeah.
Well, maybe Naps. Hold on. Maybe Naps can tell us about space time.
Well, no. This is the great follow-up negator, because I was just listening to last night's show before I got on this one. And that was the question Travis asked Naps. Do you have anything to say? Silent pause. Nothing. Right. So, Travis, you're following up on that question, right? Now.
Oh yeah, I mean she's back, right? She's back, so she must have had long enough to think of something.
The great follow up. 24 hours later.
Knock it off. Tell us about space time, Naps.
Oh my God.
What's going on, Naps? We just wanted to play. You don't want to play? No. All right. We got Stacy B in the chat. What's up, Stacy?
Stacy, what up?
Stacy versus Naps.
Oh, what up? Sorry, honey. I was just eating
Oh, that's all right.
pizza. So don't mind me. What's up, Naps? But I'm not trying to attack Naps. I'm just enjoying my food and listening. But hey.
All right. Cool. You saw Jedi earlier in here. He must have ducked out. All right.
He's having problems with his phone right now. It's wanting to, just kick him out and stuff. So I hope he'll be back soon.
Cool. And I see we've got Howard that joined us. What's up, Howard? No, he's driving. Oh, there he is.
No, I'm not.
He's not driving. He's got a rear end problem.
Yeah, I blew a rear end up last night. I'm sitting in a hotel room watching NASA TV.
Man,
God.
Hey, Howard, I blow up like 3 rear ends a day.
That's a little bit dangerous there, Brandon. I'm not sure you want to go down that discussion.
Yeah, Brandon, Howard's rear end was only about 3 years old, though. I mean,
is
there a correlation there? You can't. Okay, don't go.
Oh, that's in a bad spot.
Oops, I made a mistake. Anyway, you get it all fixed? You're in a hotel room waiting, huh?
I'm in a room. My girlfriend's on her way with a rebuilt out of Memphis. I'll be going tomorrow by noon, probably. After nothing today and $5,000 won't fix.
Oh. Insurance cover that or what?
Oh no, it's me.
Sorry to hear that, man.
That's all right. It's the way it goes. Cost to do business.
Sure.
How many miles you got on that one? You think?
It was original. It had over 1 million miles on it.
Yeah.
And we got Bandsaw Bandit in the house. What's up, Bandsaw?
Oh man, I had a dodgy curry last night, so I'm pretty iffy about doing my rear end. I can tell you that right
now. Dodgy curry.
That's no good.
About to blow your own rear end out.
Pretty much, Jeremy.
couple seals.
Huh. I'm sorry to hear that, Bandsaw. And then we got Bob Dole. What's up, Bob? No, Bob. Oh man. Anyway, guys, so what's going on? Anybody got anything to plug or a topic that they're dying to discuss? What were they beating you over the head with today in Gems, Jeremy?
Yeah, they didn't give me a fucking chance. Were you listening?
Yeah, I only caught the end of it though. When you
they didn't give me a fucking chance to respond.
No.
I'm having a fucking serious debate with Jem. They like to monologue and talk a lot. So he was going off on his little monologue. So I let him go, and then it was my turn to talk. I got 2 fucking words out, and everyone cut me off and wouldn't let me talk again. I'm like, yo, I need to rebuttal that. And I just fucking left because it's so much frustration in there. It's not even worth it anymore. I stopped going in there for a couple weeks, and I just felt better mentally.
Really? Like you could notice
we were going over
in your just in how you felt from not going in there?
Yeah, bro. We were talking about the Black Swan and the Horizon and shit, and he was making a claim, a baseless assertion that we could see the oil rig at the Black Swan because of refraction. And, I was about to say, well, you haven't proven that that's how refraction works. So I'm just going to say that refraction works like it's blocking the oil rig when we can't see it. And that's refraction. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
But they wouldn't even let me get it out.
Yeah, you can't take those guys too seriously. Jem, he's pretty funny because if you get him on the ropes, he'll flip the fuck out.
That's funny.
Yeah, but you better not fucking interrupt him, man. Don't you dare.
Man.
He freaks the fuck out. It's hilarious. He hasn't been over here in a while. Does anybody miss him? Should I invite him back?
No.
You can. I had something I was thinking about. This is way off topic, but I was thinking about, they know that light is affected by gravitational space-time or something, because I guess Einstein predicted that Venus was going to be somewhere, and the light bent around this sun, this gravity ball, and through space-time, and boom, wow, everything's
Talking about the
confirmed.
Eddington experiment, yeah.
Yeah, and
pseudo quasi experiment, not a real experiment.
Yeah,
My bad,
so
go ahead.
in a sense, you could break it down that light is affected by gravity. It bends due to gravity, right? I mean, even at the speed it's traveling from another.
What's the evidence? There's no evidence
a reflected light source like Venus, coming around a light source called the sun to get to another. So, light source called our eyeballs that, sees these reflected lights, right? So what I was thinking about was, if light is affected by gravity, actually reflected light, sorry, man. So if reflected light is affected by gravity through space, how does light even leave the sun, which is this big ball of gravity attracting all these planets around it and shit? How does light even leave the surface of the sun when it's at the source closest to that gravitational?
Because, bro, the same reason why gas goes up when it's at ground level, because gravity's strongest at ground level, so it makes the gas go up, and then when gravity's at its weakest point, way up in the atmosphere, that's when it starts to kick in.
That's when it just gets that boost, that
not
turbo
when it's at
boost.
its strongest point. Yeah, not when it's at its strongest point at the ground level. It makes sense, bro. It all checks out.
Yeah.
Do they say that light is affected? Like, if I think that's an interesting question, for sure. But
it has mass.
Do they say that light is affected on Earth? Like, if I shone a flashlight perfectly parallel with sea level, would the light start to fall down towards the Earth?
Due to gravity. I mean, that's
bro.
what Einstein's special relativity is all about, dude.
That's refraction. Well, isn't that what they say, terrestrial?
No.
You'd have to reflect it first.
No. It's refracted gravity. That's what it is. It's refracted gravity.
Isn't that what they say, terrestrial for refraction is the light's bending around the... that's due to the atmosphere and not gravity, though?
You can see your own ass. Quote,
what is it, Travis?
2018.
What'd you say, Jeremy? What was that last thing?
Well, hold on a second. Rumpus said you could see your own ass twice the other day. If it's good.
Yeah, I've read the article where he got that from. It's published. It's in a printed article.
Oh, that wasn't a Rumpus original.
No, he doesn't have an original thought in his brain.
Dang it! I feel let down.
So, if gravity impacts light on the surface of the Earth, how much does it impact it?
Why are we talking about something that hasn't been proven?
I don't know.
I'm
just trying to fuck around and understand.
La la land. What's up, Matrix?
I'm good. How's the mic, guys?
Your mic is good.
But that was a serious
Travis,
question.
The only reason
do they say anything? Do they say that that happens?
I don't know.
Brandon, this is the reason for Einstein being such a genius and Nobel Prizes was he was predicting that the light from a reflective source, I think it was Venus, would come around the sun and hit Earth, but you couldn't see it. Somebody else might know exactly what that.
It's called the Eddington experiment. It was the light from a star during a solar eclipse.
Yeah. Which should be, but that star should have been behind the solar eclipse, but the light was bending around it through gravity and space-time, right? So the whole science is based on that idea, Brandon, of light bending around the sun because of the gravity. It pulled it back in and shot it straight towards Earth, where obviously Einstein could see it, and boom, there you go.
So is the gravity also pulling down the sun rays and the... Hold on. I'm asking a question. Hold on, Dada. So is gravity also pulling down the sun rays and the heat down from the sun or whatever through the medium down to the ground?
Yes, it's pulling down everything, bro.
Yeah.
We're in a gravity well.
Einstein.
Hold
yeah,
on,
yeah.
hold on.
Space
Wait, I'm
pulls down
confused
everything.
because gravitational lensing wasn't part of their calculations, but now it is. So explain to me how Eddington's experiment saw this. Now that modern science comes up with gravitational lensing, which is essentially looking through water, is what they say. So how can they say that now, but back then they weren't looking through gravitational lensing?
Because they're making this shit up as they go.
You don't.
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
understand.
Gravitational
You don't
lensing sounds
understand.
a lot like making up a word like ether band. You know what I mean?
Bro, I was just about to say that.
You know what?
Travis.
I'm telling you this
Shout
right
out,
now. If you go look up gravitational lensing, and from the photographs they tell you it's like looking through a raindrop. I am not fucking
I
joking.
was just about to mention you and your ether band when I heard that gravitational lens.
Everybody drink.
Did everybody drink again? Nice. Obviously, Daddy, you don't understand. So
Anybody got an official definition?
I would love for somebody to explain to me that.
Listen, space.
Anybody got
guys,
an official definition for gravitational lensing? Something official?
Yeah, it's like when you're walking down the street and this girl kind of walks, right in front of you, and her booty's just looking real good, and you have to get like 3 double takes just to check it out. It's gravitating towards you. My lenses. There you go.
So the mass of the ass is so humongous that the gravity forces you to look.
Pulls my eyes. Yeah. Even orbits my head. It even orbits my head over. So.
Yeah, see how Meow likes that excuse.
Is that what you're telling your wife all the time, Aaron?
What I meant was when my wife walks by. When my wife
I think they understand the gravity of the situation.
Keep on the mercy.
I mean, listen, it is 2021, so nowadays women are looking too. So I don't even think it's a big deal anymore.
I wonder if you could use that as an excuse. I fell into a gravity well. That's when you. Sorry.
You could literally just say that the ass is so big it pulled you in.
Oh.
Lots of ass talk tonight. What's going on around here?
Those massive globes on the chest.
testosterone
Now we have a 3-body problem. Oh boy.
Did your wife listen to the show, Aaron? Did she ever listen in?
You better hope not.
Not really.
Not after that.
Every time I look at Kim Kardashian, I get pulled into a black hole. What the hell's going on there?
Hey, Paige, your camera's on in case you didn't know.
White's word in the chat says that magnetism does impact light. So some of you guys think that things fall to the ground because of magnetism. Would that impact the light traveling over the surface of the ground too? Is there any evidence
You'd
for
have
that?
to be able to manipulate it. You'd have to be able to manipulate it.
Well,
Turn it off and on. Yeah.
The CERN has a very long beam of light down the tube, or bends, right? They're bending this. Anyway, I'll go look at it again. Sorry, before I continue on.
Okay.
Did White say magnetism does or doesn't affect light?
Does.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. I could be wrong.
I don't think so. It depends on what kind of light. And remember, I'd like to.
I thought I'd seen that they could do something with it might have been plasma, though I'm not quite sure. Oh, hang on, no, it was like neon tubes, like neon light signs and stuff. You can put magnets near it and make it bend. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I've seen
ionized gas. A little bit different than sunlight and stuff, Paige, which I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
They want to go all over the place. Like light is just this one thing, right? But no, I'm talking about daylight right now. Sunlight. Let's talk about that.
You can't
figure that out first.
You can't bend that. No. They control the light that I was talking about. The CERN is not sunlight. It's not visible light. That's for sure. I can't remember what it is, but I'll go look it up.
Yeah, it says right here, light and magnetism do not interact. So
What's the magnetic effect then? It says it's a theoretical quantum mechanical effect discovered by researchers. A powerful magnetic interaction between the photon's dynamic magnetic field and certain isolator material. Oh shit, that's way out there. Never mind.
It only exists on that piece of paper, Brandon. That's the only place it exists.
Well, I think we should just leave it there too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit about light. There's so much shit about light. We know we don't know, there's a lot we don't know about light. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
That's how I became a flat earther, is because I didn't know anything about light until I researched it. It was light that converted me into a plain earther.
Mm-hmm. What? Double slit or something?
Corpuscular rays, and then the double slit, and then the Rayleigh's criterion. So I went in succession. I just followed light. And when
well, and that took you to the human eye, which is how we perceive any light.
Exactly.
And that's
so it was a succession. It was a year into it, and then I came up with I didn't come up with it, but I started researching the Rayleigh criterion. And then I came across Nathan Oakley's show. I had the Rayleigh criterion up there. Then he asked me about it, and then I just kept researching. And then I found this constant 1.22. I started posting everywhere, and then everybody else picked up on it. So that's what I remember. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember.
Yeah. No, it's been a great ride, Dad, with you.
You know what? It's funny because sometimes I think, will I ever, like, even if we because when I first started out, I fucking like anybody regarding either side, because you get angry, right? You're like, who the fuck's lying? Who's the agent here? Who's the douchebag working for the fucking guy? And listening to all these voices over a period of time, Travis grew on me, Brandon's grew on me, fucking Aaron, you grew on me. I don't know you guys from a hole in the wall. If I ever get a chance to meet you, that would be like years later when it gets bigger and bigger. If it ever does go down this path that we see, if we ever get to meet, then you realize that we're the beginning of that programming. We're the beginning of that process, right? So that's kind of, I don't know, it'd be pretty stellar, I think, if we all got together in a room and
stellar.
At least that's
yeah,
that'd be
for sure.
Yeah.
Why not have a beer? Hey, all the arguments over the years, and then I mean, at this point though, if it ever happened to the scale that I think, the world is going to be going through some pretty big changes, man.
Well, just going back to corpuscular rays real quick. Think about corpuscular rays in the same way. If you're underwater and you look up, and you can Google this with sunlight through water, you'll see the same thing as corpuscular rays. Corpuscular rays. Okay, there's no such thing as a ray of light. They don't exist.
No, I know, but it's a introduction.
No, I'm just saying.
What about the ray tracing, though?
Hold on, just real quick.
That's mathematical algorithm, bro.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but the reason why we have corpuscular rays is because there's something blocking the light. A cloud is blocking light. So the only light that we can see is the light that is not blocked by the cloud. And the only reason why we see that is because there's something against which it is in contrast. So if you look up on a cloudless day, you're not going to see a corpuscular ray. But if in the distance you have a set of clouds behind which the sun is, then the sun, when it breaks through the clouds, you're going to see daylight. You're not going to see a ray of light. You're going to see daylight. And it's going to appear the way it appears because it's in contrast to that which is behind it.
Very good point.
The way I perceived it at the moment was obviously the traditional rays of light, but it wasn't what I took away. The ray is what I didn't take away. It was the divergence of the light I took away. And the only possible effect that I could reduplicate it in reality was with a close light. And so that's what basically made me research the 93 million miles, which then I came across all of this esoteric 93 Thelema, Aleister Crowley shit. Like, it led me down that path, just searching out the sunlight. And then go into the night.
On corpuscular, real quick, like Travis is saying, you can look off in the distance and you could see corpuscular rays, right? But it's still lit where I'm at. So, but those are called rays, corpuscular rays. But what's lighting everything around me, right? You kind of get it. There's no ray coming to my eye, so
No,
here's
I
a
think
light
it's just
ray.
I think it's just an energized like there's light and then there's sunlight, right?
But there's
So-
always light. Even the moon is the lesser light, you know. So even though it is as bright as the sun, there's always going to be some sort of light.
It's just the decaying of energy from the sun to the location where you're at. So you have that energy output, and as you get farther away from that energy output, you have a decay.
Jeremy, I cut
Right.
you off. Sorry, you've been cut off enough today. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I don't even remember what I was gonna say. It's okay.
Oh,
I was gonna make some stupid. Go ahead, Brandon.
sorry, I cut you off.
If we ever did meet up, I'd love to go to Clearwater, Florida, and meet everybody there.
Damn it, if we ever met up, I don't have a physical mute button, so I couldn't mute you. So we'd have to be there. We'd have to be there for
Who
about
wants to
7
tell me what
days.
that is?
We'd have to be
in
there
my
for about
sky?
7 days so I could hear you out. Okay.
You're gonna have to tape his mouth, Aaron.
We'll bring a
It's
cattle
all
prod.
good. It's all good. It'll only be over a couple of beers.
I can
you'll be
duct tape
safe.
my ears shut, I guess, maybe.
Or not, just put him a shock collar.
There we go.
Paige is showing us a contrail or a chemtrail, perhaps.
You can even see it coming out of the back of the plane, down here a little bit. Hang on, I'll show you. Can you see? I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but
That's pretty
I can
small.
actually see
Yeah, I
the
can see
two
it.
big streaks coming out of the back of it, and it goes all the way across my sky to the other horizon. So sorry guys, but that's not a contrail. You know, a contrail would be gone in, maybe 5 minutes max.
Curving
You know,
like a
that's-
motherfucker, though. You see that?
That is something else.
It looks as straight as an
It's-
arrow, doesn't it? Straight
It's
as
so
an arrow.
bad.
Doesn't
It's so
it?
bad.
Yeah.
The spraying is so bad where I'm at in Langley, British Columbia. It was dripping from the sky. I can literally see, like, you know how you, like, say you take a paintbrush against a wall and you have those little blood, like those little drips. You know what I mean? Those little straggle drips from the big brush stroke. So just imagine the big sky, big brush stroke of trail, and all it looked like just drips coming off of it, man, and all rainbow colors and everything. I took video of it. I just couldn't believe it, and I pointed. I was on the street. I started pointing to everybody. I said, "Look at this fucking shit." I didn't curse at them, mind you. Look, and they're like looking like, "What? What do you see?" Like, do you see that thing? The rainbow and the drips, just right over their heads, man. It's like, have you not seen this before? Do you know how they spray crop fields? Why are they spraying a crop field thing over our heads?
Imagine any spraying they do at night when you can't see it, right? You know,
When you
this-
can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why anybody would deny that. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm watching it spread out, like where it started, way
I'll tell you
over
why,
there
Paige.
to the right. It's
I'll tell
now
you
about
why.
an inch wide in my sky, whereas over where the plane is, it's still just a millimeter
I'll tell
in
you
the
why
sky,
nobody
so
believes.
you can
I'll
see it.
I'll tell you why nobody believes it. Before I got into flat, or before I was introduced to anything on the web, my friend was researching geoengineering, and I literally laughed at him and mocked him for it. He researched it for a year. He's sending me things, geoengineering, da-da-da-da. It wasn't paid. It wasn't until I actually saw it with my own eyes that I had to take my camera out and film it. And then what I saw, I called him up immediately. It's like, I just filmed what you said. And I denied it for 2 years. 2 or 3 years I denied it until I saw it with my own eyes. So it's just going to take people seeing it with their own eyes. And the funny thing is when he showed me footage, I still denied it. It took me like 2 or 3 years to finally admit it, or by seeing it and going, holy shit, he was right. So it really just takes that long, I guess, for people to accept the truth.
Well, it's not a time thing. It's an individual personal realization based upon stuff you've heard that we ridiculed before. When you actually do take the time, 1 second to look into it, however long you were denying it, right? Boom, mind changed, or at least mind open.
However, I think that truth is instantly. As soon as you hear it, doesn't matter what kind of logic you have. As soon as you hear truth, it's like it hits you in your chest real hard. I don't think you have
Here's
to
the thing, though.
research
When
Depends
told
on
me
the
that-
truth matrix, right? Because
when-
you have to experience it yourself, right? To have that.
Yeah, I laughed at him, man. I mocked him. I was like, "You're full of shit. Why would they want to spray the skies and kill everybody? Were they going to kill their own kids?" Like, that was my approach right away. Even if he showed me videos and links and people talking about it, I still did not accept it. It wasn't until I actually saw it with my own eyes and I filmed it myself, which what out of the back of this is in Alberta, Canada. Out of my eyes, what I saw coming at that thing was, because I was in aviation, I saw this shit before. I'd never seen anything like that, and that would to me is what triggered the suspicion. And then I came across David Keith Group, and then I was like, holy fuck! I just saw what these guys are talking about with my own eyes. And it doesn't matter if I filmed it and if I packaged it nicely with David Keith saying it, and I showed it to somebody, even if I went to Health Canada, because what I did is I went to the emailed all these people with the I can't remember, this is years ago I did this. And literally, I asked them, can you please forward me or email me any documentation that your offices use for protocols dealing with climate change or geoengineering? That's what I wanted. He goes, well, I might have something around in the office I might send you. I was like, I'm just a concerned Canadian citizen. Can you please provide me the information? All he did was send me a link to to Government Canada, and he never replied back to me again, dude.
Exactly. Is it possible that the people dying from the chemtrails is a byproduct? Is like a side effect, kind of like an apple. Like 1,000 people might eat apples and they'll be fine, and then one person eats the same apple and he'll die. You know what I'm saying? So is it possible they're chemtrailing? They are chemtrailing, but the goal is not to kill people, right? That's the conspiracy probably that they made to throw people off. Right, I want to know the original goal, and what Jimbo said earlier about the bouncing the rays off. That sounds like a more logical thing. They just fucking up the air, because remember they also have to breathe the air, right? Their family has to breathe that air. That just spreads around.
Yeah. Also think about this though. They don't want to kill us because we are the producers, right? Our mind,
we're the cattle.
Your mind matrix is the most valuable thing to them. Absolutely. And but why not retard it a little bit? Just keep it down a little bit, just enough. And however to do that, whether with its aerosols, chemicals, whatever we breathe, putting in your toothbrush, whatever, is kind of the same thing that we already do with animals. We want to fatten them up, make them, just big and more profitable for us. But the reverse and opposite is true too. You could limit that. You could take a chemical, feed it, put it in their food, and make them skinnier, weaker, dumber, less just mind manipulation thing, just less conscious of stuff, I
think you hit the nail on the head with I think another byproduct is dumbing us down, right? They don't necessarily want to kill us, because remember, if they kill 1 billion people, remember, how is the earth going to smell for a few years, right? A whole bunch of rotten bodies, right? That is just not economical. It doesn't make sense. What makes sense is they dumbing us down, just like a pill could take depression from you. Carlos, relax. Just like a pill could take away your depression, just like a pill could take away your allergies, they could also make pills probably, to make you a little less receptive to truth. Make you a little more.
They legalized marijuana, man.
Hey,
all right,
Matrix.
marijuana has its effects, but I think they have like official drugs for that, like that kind of shit to dumb us down.
Have you seen the video of the guys telling about the gene inside your brain or whatever that they were going to vaccinate people against for religious fundamentalism? Like the CIA guy goes,
yes,
oh, what? So you're telling us you'll be able to vaccinate some guy so he won't don a vest and blow himself up inside some church or something? And the doctor goes, yes. And he shows him these two brains and goes, this is the religious fundamentalists, big bright spot in the middle of his brain. This one isn't. They're reading a religious text. This one's showing disgust reading the religious text. This one's brain's lighting up like a Christmas tree. So we're just going to create this vaccine that will stop your brain lighting up like that.
Speaking of this, I did want to say one thing, because I kind of piggyback off what you're saying. They don't want to kill us. That makes sense. And you and I have talked about what we kind of think is going on in this realm. But I find it interesting that we live just long enough to say, 70, 80 years old, grow up, be productive members of society, play our role, train our replacement, and then, support that next generation that comes along a little bit with whatever finances we can, kind of finish our thing off in the marketplace. And then we die shortly afterwards. We never live long enough to put all the dots together and connect all the lines and really understand what the fuck is going on around here. You know what I mean?
Well, isn't it every 72 years a comet comes by, right?
Haley.
So you can live to 72 years. Well, actually, that's from the duration of the time of the 72 years, so that would be incorrect. I just think a lot of things would be revealed to them. Yeah, if you live past 100, you probably have a lot more revealed to you. For sure.
Data, what do you think about this? So there's this word gets thrown around, cognitive dissonance, right? Cognitive dissonance.
Two beliefs, yeah, holding two beliefs.
Now
yeah.
what? Now remember, when let's say we forget everything we know about flat Earth and all this shit, but we're just living our normal life. You go outside and the sun's out, you feel good, right? You're like, wow, sun's out, yeah.
Fucking right. So I was happy
This
today,
shit's
man. The
going
sun was
down.
shining.
I
Yep.
want to do some work. I'm on my own house or whatever. Everybody's happy. Everybody's high-fiving each other. That's good. Now, the word dissonance, sonance, right? Sonance is sound, vibration, right? That light, and I've heard this before, the sun is a vibration. I don't know if you know about this. I've heard Paige talk about it before.
The sun's a gong.
Yeah. And so if this chemical, whatever they're doing in the skies to limit that vibration, which brings people down to a mental state of, well, everything's okay. Right, like Brandon's just saying, let's just get through life. I'll pass
Apathy.
on whatever.
That's what they've created, a ton of apathy.
Complacency, sure, yeah.
But that word, cognitive, mental dissonance, right? To limit the vibration of
divide, yeah. To divide it, yeah.
Imagine if we lived 300 years. What kind of organization we'd be able to get together? What kind of knowledge base we could all be lawyers, doctors. We could finish all that shit. There'd be people who would know the breadth of human knowledge at some point. You live 200 years. You learn all that. You have so much history. You connect so many dots, learn so many things, and you're not going to sit around and be a slave for 300 fucking years. I might be a slave for 70 years because I want to take care of my kids. I want to grow my kids. I want to have a nice life. I don't want to be poor when I'm old and decrepit. It's a perfect system for them to take advantage of.
And not only that, all the products you buy, like Jeremy was saying earlier about planned obsolescence, right? They plan that, so we have to buy new shit every fucking year. It just breaks down. There's nothing wrong with a 30-year-old washer dryer, whatever we have. It still works. Now, technology can improve, and you can choose to buy a new one if you want, but they've planned that in that you have to buy a new one because yours is broken.
Yeah, I think they planned in obsolescence into us, into humans. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, listen, just real quick, guys. I'm waiting for the day where my friend is finally comfortable to come out with the research that he's been publishing it on Facebook on a daily basis. My friend was diagnosed with a carcinoma cancer 3 years ago. And he started to research how to heal his body. And basically, he's eradicated himself, not only of the cancer, but of death itself, according to him. Now, I know this is going to sound crazy, but Brandon, you're talking about, we're going to live to be 70, we're going to live to be 80. I can show you on my Facebook page with him. Over and over and over again, he said, I'm pushing to look 25 when I'm 50. And he's like 48 right now, and he's looking pretty damn good in terms of health, right? So basically what he's pushing for is the fact that, yes, we have been poisoned by our own government that puts out the food that we eat and tells us what the food pyramid is supposed to be. They have basically constructed a system of quote unquote healthy diet. And he's telling us on Facebook left and right, that stuff is going to kill you. Get rid of eating that stuff. Go to a basic raw fruit and vegetable diet. And one of the things that he continues to say is that he rarely drinks water anymore because all of his what's the word I'm looking for? Hydration comes from the fruit that he eats. He says, I've never felt stronger. I've never felt healthier. My joints don't hurt. My knees, nothing. So his thing is, I'm going to be living at least to be 150. Who's with me? And man, when you talk to this guy, it's just, he's done his research, but it's so out there. You're just like,
That's too crazy, but it sounds awesome.
Travis, to back you up, I came across a lady who is almost 80 who has been eating a raw foods diet for, like, I think about the last 40 years or something. Seriously, she looks like she's 20. Like, oh my God, this woman is
African
hot.
woman?
African, yep, black lady.
Yeah.
Her husband looks the right age. She
Yep.
looks like his granddaughter.
Yeah, that's because he didn't do the diet. He's like
He
whatever.
didn't do it with her. Yeah, and he's now going, oh my God, I should have been doing this the whole time with her. I didn't realize it'd work this well.
Yeah.
You guys know
That
super
one,
rats,
it's like
right?
that one B.O.B. song.
Yeah, but let me interrupt for a
Antonio,
minute.
yeah.
Food should be your medicine.
Antonio Cerberat's got cancer there. He got throat cancer, right?
Yeah.
He documented some of his
Yes.
trials and tribulations there, but I haven't heard anything from it from him since. But his last video that I did see, it wasn't tuned too good. I think he was suffering some serious mental breakdown here, but he was under the same impression that he could cure his disease. Has anybody heard of him since?
Well, we have to keep in mind that with a guy like
No, I haven't heard
Antonio,
anything from him since then.
his mental state already was in another, how to say this, frame than just focusing on his health, right? He was already within a, let's say, realm of flat earth and trolls and all this stuff, you know. And so I did see his last video that I've seen so far. And he didn't look that well. He looked much thinner, like way thin. I hope he's okay. But we have to keep in mind that he wasn't totally focused on one thing, which was his health.
Yeah, he was still smoking. He was still smoking through the process of curing his throat cancer. He said.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean,
I
the
just
only-
wanted to let you guys know that Martin Leakey is in the chat, hanging out. He's out.
What's up?
In YouTube? I'm a big fan of Martin's channel.
Yeah.
The name escapes me right off the top of my head. It's Flat Earth.
Oh yeah,
British,
shout
right?
out.
Flat Earth British.
Smart
Yeah,
guy.
shout out, Martin.
It's Flat Earth British.
Flat Earth British. Big shout out. I love that stuff. You find some amazing stuff out there. I thought about looking for some of that stuff, and I have looked for some of that stuff and come across it in the past, but Martin's just got his finger on the pulse of all that shit. It's amazing what you dig up, man.
Yeah,
The most thing I like about Martin's show is it'll be like a 10-hour stream, and it's the music, not let alone the information, but he's got some badass music on all his videos.
He talks about like the fascies and things, man. Like he talks about interesting technology. It's real interesting the stuff he talks about. Shout out to you, Martin Leakey.
Yeah, not to take away from Martin at all, not at all. But if you don't know John Levi, he's based here in the States, and he does the exact same research. Really good channel.
John LeBon, but doesn't he charge for his information?
No,
No,
John,
not that one. Completely different guy, and I do watch Levi's stuff. Love it. Been watching him for years.
Yeah.
So John LeBon and John LeBon not the same person?
No, not the same.
Okay, hold on.
Anybody got a link?
Hold on. I'll spell it out for you. It's JON space LEV as in Victor I. John Levi.
Repeat that last part.
John Levi. Just put in John Levi and Mudflood or something like that. You'll hit his content.
Yeah, it's a big channel now.
Yeah, he does.
He's almost at
Dude, whoever it was
100,000 subscribers. John
I've
Levi.
already had him.
Have you guys seen that Mike Morales guy? He does. He talks about geoengineering and spraying and such, and he does quite a bit of YouTube videos.
Yeah,
I reached out to him last week to come in and debate because he's now debating flat earthers apparently, and he says that he can prove them wrong. So I reached out to him, asked him to come in. I haven't heard anything from him yet to come in and debate us, but maybe if more of us reach out, because he does a live video almost every day now regarding the geoengineering and spraying of the skies. So Mike Morales, Morales.
Let's all go give him an invite, right?
Yeah, I did. I gave him an invite. One of
No,
his
I
talk
said
shows.
let's all go give him an invite.
I found it
Yeah,
above
'cause it's-
ground world news. Whether
Yeah, a lot
or
of
what.
Christians watch his page apparently, and a lot of Christians, they can't read their own Bible, it seems. So,
Real quick side note to whoever it was that said that they don't think that the elites try to kill us. I agree, and that's how I used to think up until just recently when I watched the new Davos conference, where they started talking about how they now have enough energy replacement via robots that we have become, and they literally use the term useless class. So we're
Yeah,
not
what are they
useless
gonna
class.
do?
So I think they
What do
will
we?
start killing us.
What do you think they're gonna do when we're just a waste of resources?
Right.
When they have robots and the technology to replace us, when they don't need McDonald's workers and Roomba or people to vacuum because they got vacuum robots and all kinds of shit automated. It's
what
gonna
do you
be a
think
problem for once they automate shit. It's gonna be a fucking huge problem. We will be.
they're gonna do like
What do you
the
think
movie
these vaccines
Elysium,
are for?
and then
What do
they're
you think
gonna
all the
kill us all.
abortion is for?
Okay, but I would
What
still
all the
say, Jeremy,
whites for
that's going to
percentage?
take that's going to take a very long
The
time
abortion,
to get rid of the ingenuity of the human mind, even behind whatever AI that they have, right?
Autonomous vehicles.
You think they're going to go
need it.
repair their vacuum cleaner? You think they're going to leave their Bahama resort to go repair the vacuum cleaner that's all fucked up and maybe starting on fire and burns down the hotel and shit, right?
You have a machine. Fix the machine.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
well, then it has to be cognizant
Or
of
you
what
have
the
a machine,
problem
just
is.
make a
You
new
can't do
machine
that.
because
No,
you don't care.
Listen.
So
you guys
then
are,
machines will take over them, right, Jeremy?
no.
Listen, like
You're
Paige just
missing it.
said, the machines will
No.
take over them.
No,
Okay,
absolutely not.
real quick. If it gets to the point to where they have machines to do for us, they're not going to make them obsolete. They're going to make them the way they know how to make them so that they never down.
Fail. Yep.
Exactly.
They're not
They'll
going to
be
use planned
done right.
obsolescence. Yeah,
I
they're
think
not gonna use planned
organic
obsolescence.
machines sounds better. I don't
They're
think machines like robots. I don't think that's productive. I think making biological machines kind of like humans, but just without
they
brains.
we're not there
will be
yet.
more.
But Brandon, I sent you a.
Chimeras.
Yeah, bullshit. I don't. Yeah, we're definitely there. We're definitely
Let me get
I just
self-driving cars
posted.
first, right? Look, your car is a machine. It's an AI machine, but it still needs input from a human brain. Now, there
For
is
now,
all this.
we're very close to them not needing that though with autonomous vehicles.
Show it to me on a larger
2025,
scale.
gentlemen.
City,
I just
a
posted.
full city.
I just posted.
City that's all AI driven, right? So people are moving around in these steel, we'll call them buggies, wheels to the ground. They're not floating or anything, right? And show me that everybody gets to go where they want to go and without any problem. Okay. And it won't
Like
happen.
I said, we're not there yet, but we're very close.
Yeah, it's going to take
Yeah,
a
we're
long
definitely getting there.
I just posted a war act written by an ex-NASA employee. It's for 2025. I put it in the chat. Anybody can go look it up. It's called. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. This is not new.
I have. The bots, Borgs, and human welcome you to 2020 or future strategic issues, future warfare.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
The
there you
future
go.
is now. Yeah,
Quiet
so
weapons
pretty
for
crazy
silent
this
wars,
document here. I'll put the link in the YouTube chat if it'll let me. But I think
So
we are those robots. We are the robots. Maybe they want us to build a better robot, but the humans are pretty damn good robots if they could be controlled.
The best.
We're pretty
Absolutely.
good.
If they can be controlled, exactly, which is what they're doing. They're controlling.
Right.
Well, everybody likes the China money, right? So it's hard to get rid of the good, comfortable life we have now.
Don't blame it on a country of some sorts.
The CCP money, dude. You're telling me.
I would
tell
say,
me this.
other than those glitches that are us, we're the glitches. They pretty much have 95% of the people fooled.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Controlled. Exactly. We are the robots.
That's why everything's psychological
we're not the robots
towards us.
Yes, we
It's
are.
easier than being
fellow
forceful,
man
like,
is
you know.
the robot. We're just the
Get the
glitches.
people to lock themselves in and police themselves or police each other, you know? Just like you always say, Aaron, it's your neighbour, isn't it? You know, your neighbour's the one that's the cop or whatever. You know, these are the people that are making it impossible for us to create any better kind of way to live because they believe in the system they work for.
Along those lines, Paige,
Or
think
if
about
they
this.
don't believe it, they at least accept it and have succumbed to it. And it's like the ones who don't want to look at anything, because if you look at something and you find out you can't tell the truth until you realize what the lie is. So as long as they don't look at the lie, as long as they don't realize what the lie is, then they don't have to think about it. They don't have to think of a solution. They don't have to worry about it. They can just, head in the sand, off to work, get my paycheck. Everything will be just fine.
In
And that's
reality,
the way most people are.
in
Matrix,
reality,
real quick. Think about a fully automated society, Jeremy. Matrix. Sorry to cut you off, Matrix, but real quick, think about the power that's going to take, because all of those robots have to run off energy, right? That's going to be created somewhere. So just real quick, think about where energy comes from and all this shit. Now think about their new Green Deal, where they're cutting down on energy sources and shit. I mean, it's a.
So your problem is, where's the energy come from?
Think about a fully automated society, Jeremy. Think about it. Where are you going to get all the energy?
If you guys want to see what they're doing for automation, go look at a company called Suncor. They're located in the United States and Canada. They are now. Let me finish. Their whole a majority of their workforce.
Get the Colosseum working again, Aaron.
Right?
The majority
Get the Colosseum working again. Stick the hot water back in it, and you'll have all the energy you need.
The majority of work now.
Great ideas for us, but not for them.
The majority of work for mining and harvesting oil is going to be driven by robots and AI. Suncor
Where does
is
the energy come from, Dada?
exactly it all. Okay, so the first law of thermodynamics is you
Most
need
major
energy to
farms
run the
are
robots.
already automated. Yes.
Yeah, they need to run robots. So the idea is they're going to go.
Robotics.
They're automated, not robotic. They're automated. Okay.
They're in Canada, in Suncor here, they have a fully autonomous robots that mine the earth. It's called Suncor 2.0. Literally, they're one of the first companies in the world that are actually getting rid of employees to mine minerals.
Yeah, I get
with
it. Now,
artificial intelligence and robots.
Where do they get the energy? Where do they get the energy?
Robots, you don't have to pay health insurance or a wage to or anything.
You got it. What else they did is they introduced Zoom or platforms like Zoom. So now all the buildings that required all the cleaning, people who pay gas to go drive there, they're getting rid of it all. So we are going to kill ourselves off. Not them.
Jeremy,
we are.
Good time to have a pandemic where you lock everyone inside so they get used to not having to go to work every day and, work from home, do their Zoom meetings on their computers, do everything from home.
Jeremy,
it's forced. Yes.
Good way to get everyone nice and accustomed to it.
All those payments, Jeremy, you're talking about
Fuck me.
healthcare and insurance, employee tax, all that shit. Remember, that's printed money.
Do you guys know who Kevin O'Leary
that
is?
on a whim, right? Do
you know who Kevin O'Leary is?
They're not concerned about paying for, health insurance and shit because they just make that money on a whim.
Yeah,
right?
we know Kevin O'Leary.
It's even worse than that because now, because of the pandemic and the forced closures, all these business owners saved about 30% in expenses, office expenses, employees traveling back and forth. So the lockdown,
expenses in a fictional paper world.
The lockdown made people like Kevin O'Leary 30% richer in his portfolio. Meanwhile, the person going to his place of business no longer has a job and now is subject to a basic payment that you can't go above and below, or else you have to pay it back. It's
Universal
ridiculous.
basic income.
None of that shit's good.
Very good point, Paige. The UBI is just printed money. It really doesn't come from somebody's taxes, your taxes, all that.
Has anybody else heard any more on Nasara or Jasara lately? Like, has any new information come out about that?
The Earth is very flat.
All taxes are.
I'm not
exchanged
familiar
for
with
labor,
Jasara.
just to keep your mind at a certain level. That's it. Just keep your mind at a certain level. Like, yeah, you paid in all your fucking money. It means something to you, but to them, it doesn't mean shit. They can print their own. But it keeps our mind at a certain level, like, wow, I worked this hard and I get this much, yay, right? No,
Here's the thing, though, it's a system.
Yeah, it's a great control mechanism, isn't it?
It's a system that's worked. It provides you a sustainable way of existing. You have an opportunity to go above and beyond that existence, depending on your aptitude. So the system is available for you. Look, to paint it all bad with one brushstroke, I think is wrong. I think
I
it's
never
the
said
people.
that. Never
I
said
think
this
the
bad.
people.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you don't get a choice to be a part of it. You are forced to be a part of it, like whether you want to or not.
Well, what you're forced to do is keep up with the Joneses, and you're forced to pursue.
No. I mean, like when you're born and you're given a birth certificate and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't see.
Yes,
I think that's.
this society can provide good things for your life, but you're not given a choice of whether you would like to be a part of that society or whether you want to, do something else.
I think we're just that's too far reach of idealism when it comes. Like you just too far out there. You're going.
Yeah,
I think
I've got my head in the clouds, mate. I'm an idealist. I can't help it.
No, Paige, what I would say about that is, look,
I want everything to be perfect for everybody.
Okay.
I can't help it.
Paige,
the system was ordained by God, though, right?
Hold on, Dada. Hold on, real quick. There's this
Well,
cloud.
yeah, if you're
cloud
a
called the
Bible
system.
believer like that, then
There's-
yes, that you think this
Paige,
is all
there's this cloud called
acceptable.
the system. There's this cloud
to
called
God.
the system
done by
that
God.
lives over us.
No,
right?
it's not that. I'm saying
Now,
it's acceptable.
That
What I'm saying.
system will offer you a piece of paper, Paige. The only time that becomes a burden to you, our birth certificate becomes a burden, is when we choose to use that in exchange for protection, security.
Oh,
and
no, that's
benefits.
not fair. Because if I had been told,
Listen, we
if I had been told the implications of using it, maybe I would have, but I wasn't.
Go ahead, Paige.
That's all right. He never does. I'm used to him. I'll just talk over him. If I'd been given the choice, if I had have turned, when I opened my first bank account or whatever, if 12 or whatever I was,
Why would you
if they
open
had
a
said
bank
to me,
account? That's what I'm saying. That's the system.
exactly, if they had said
why
to
would you
me, this
engage
is,
the system?
you're stepping into a contract here. This is what this actually means.
In
Then
exchange
maybe I
for
would have gone,
protection.
oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I think we all would have done that if we weren't unknowingly
And this is
put
where
on that.
their whole charade can be pulled apart, is if everybody
good.
understands that, this is a fraud that was perpetrated before you had a chance. You are in a contract, and you can't be in a contract unless you have given permission. And you couldn't do that
It's
with your
like
birth
Dada
certificate
said.
and stuff.
Nobody came to you with a gun saying, use this piece of paper to
I
contract
never said they
with
did.
us.
They don't have
Yes,
to
you
come
did.
at
You
you
said
with
it
the
was by
gun.
force,
No,
Paige. You said it was by
for
force.
it to be fraud and for it to be wrong, all that it needed to be, because it is contract law.
There is
all
no
it
fraud
needs
with
to
acceptance. There is no fraud with
Yeah,
acceptance.
she said when she was younger,
Yes,
she
the
accepted
fraud
it.
is that
She
they
didn't know any
didn't
better.
disclose everything. A contract must be a meeting of the minds,
That
mutual
piece of paper
ground.
that they offered you. You used it. If you didn't touch it, it'd still be sitting there. But you
Yeah,
and
and
me
if they
and
had
everybody
told me the
here, I get it.
implications of
Okay,
touching
listen,
it, maybe I wouldn't
we
have,
all
but I
Sin,
didn't.
Sin, she's saying
And
that the
that is,
fine print was missing.
Guys, everybody
in
relax.
law,
Relax.
Sin, she's saying that the fine print was missing. She wasn't,
there's no
she
fine
wasn't.
print on your birth certificate, is there? You've just been
Exactly. So
born.
that's
You've
why
got
it's
no
kind of
way of
fraudulent
accepting that
misrepresentation because there
contract,
was no
yet they
fine print.
force
There
it
is
on
no
you.
fine print. There is no fine print. The fine print is when you walk into an office, some government office, and you use that birth certificate, that piece of paper, to receive a benefit, privilege, or some.
Yes, you are
some
right,
contract,
Aaron.
okay?
That's when.
Now there's the fine print, okay, and it's called 20,000
No,
pages
because
of
they haven't
administrative
disclosed
law
anything to
that
you
we
yet.
never look through.
They still
right?
haven't
And
disclosed
our
anything, Aaron.
Paige, relax. Our parents never told us that was going to be the fine print. Was 20,000.
They never told your parents.
Exactly. Now, my
So it's none of our
my
fault.
grandparents
They
are a little
are the
bit
ones
skeptical.
at
They were
fault
skeptical because
here.
birth certificates were not administered in the U.S. until somewhere in the 1920s.
1930s?
Yeah. Late
about
20s, 30s,
1931
somewhere
or
in there.
something.
Okay. So my grandparents were
But the surname came much, much earlier. This goes all the way back to Emperor Justinian, back to
yes, I get it. Yeah.
What's his name? That weirdo.
The scheme is long lived. You're right. The scheme to
they just perfected it
people
over time.
to voluntarily engage the system that is fictional, but they created. But it's
the way they get us to interact with it is fraudulent.
It's overwhelming.
So
It's not fraudulent. It's overwhelming.
we can have a way to fight these people. I mean, there are so many people here that I know of that are removing
You can't fight
their
the system that you
vehicles from
created, Paige.
registration. They're registering them with the common law
You
courts.
can't fight the system that you created.
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. Oh, and it's
Well, then only
11:11,
you can
Aaron.
do it.
Do you know
Then
how
only
many
you
times
can
I've
do it.
seen triple digits and quadruple digits lately? Far out. 11:11, and we're talking about this. We
Paige,
can fight them, Aaron.
Then you're
can.
engaging with the same fraudulent system that you're angry at.
No. We fight them by ignoring their system, forcing them into ours, forcing them back into the common law side of our law. We have a law for the land and a law for the water. We need to be using both.
These are all
Living people
fictions.
who live on the land use the law of the land.
Do not
Corporations.
Do not force a fiction into our reality. Please don't do that. Okay?
No, they
We
are forcing a
who have
reality
been
into
drawn
their
into a
fiction.
We
You're
individually
getting it
our reality
backwards.
been drawn into a fiction. Okay, but please do not bring that fiction into our reality because that would be the end
No,
of yes,
they are taking
There is no
reality
they.
and
It's
putting
all
it
on
into
paper,
their
Paige.
fiction. Yeah, which is the
It's all on
fiction. And I'm saying that's what we need to ignore and force them out of that fictional corporate world.
You mean the position holders? We need to force those position holders in the fiction, like those actors, like Tom Cruise. You want to bring him out of the movie screen and put him in next to you in the theater and be like, "Hey, see, it's not real, Tom.
No.
I don't care how you're acting."
Why do you
over
always
there."
go one step too far? You're like a baller
That's what
sometimes
you're
when you do
talking
this to me,
about.
Aaron.
That's what you're talking
You
about.
don't like
You wanna
me.
bring-
You don't like seeing the cup half full ever, do you?
There is
Can't
no
let
cup
me-
half full in this
Yeah,
system.
see, there's
You're
no
either
cup
in
at all,
it-
isn't it?
You're either in it or you're out. There's no half full.
Yeah, but you see, again, you're speaking from a point of idealism as well. You're not being practical or basing anything on something that you can do daily. You're living in Narnia. You can actually fight them in the
This
systems.
is something we can do daily, and this is something we should be doing.
I'm talking.
Oh,
I'm talking
okay,
to Aaron.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm talking to Aaron.
Sorry.
So listen. I had an interaction. I had a situation where I was arrested for not providing identification. Right? They were asked. I was asked for identification. I said I'm not operating a vehicle, and I haven't committed a crime. They still detained me, still arrested me, and then forced me my identification.
Okay, can I
went
ask
to?
you a couple
Let me
questions?
finish. I'm not done. Okay. So I went to my lawyer. He says, "Yeah, what they did is wrongfully arrest you. They had no validation, no cause. That's why they threw out the charges. Did you want to sue them? It won't cost you anything.
Okay.
Exactly.
Let me finish.
Now-
Let me finish.
Okay.
You can sue them for $150 in small claims court. You can sue the cop personally. This
No,
is
you
my
can't.
lawyer told me.
Go
Stop.
ahead. No, you
My
can't.
lawyer told me I can sue
No,
personally.
you can't. No, they have
Yes.
qualified immunity, dude. You cannot.
No, they
Yes,
do
you
not.
can.
You end up having to.
No,
sue
they
the
do not.
city.
It goes
Again,
into
Aaron,
their
you are being a negative
personal-
fucktard, dude.
Oh, Jesus,
Aaron, let
come
him
on, guys.
My lawyer
you're
told
being
me
silly, Aaron.
I could sue
'Cause
him. Do you
I
know what I
people
can?
who've
Do you know
done
what
it
I can
too,
sue him
who've
for?
actually done it.
They have qualified immunity. You ain't
Again,
suing a
no, they do
judge,
not.
you ain't
False
suing a
arrest.
cop,
They don't
you
have
ain't suing
immunity
an
from
attorney
false
or a
arrest.
prosecutor.
They don't have
You ain't doing
immunity from false arrest.
You're not suing
You
the
are
mayor,
wrong.
You're not suing the
Again,
governor.
I'm
You're
suing
not
the
suing
individual.
legislator. You ain't
I'm
doing
suing the Shut up, dude. I'm
Let
suing
him
the
talk.
individual. I'm suing the individual for exercising an infringement against my rights. Is what I'm suing. He's
There
just
was no
a
individual.
Yeah, just doing my
Again,
job is not an
There was no
excuse
he
anymore.
had
That
no
person
authority
will be
to
held
arrest me,
personally
dude.
responsible.
If that
You
dude
can't
was
So-
acting
now
under
after
a
Nuremberg. You can't use
title,
that excuse.
you have
So I
to
was
sue
just
the
doing my
title.
job.
You don't sue
So
that
they
guy.
will be personally held accountable. All these police and everybody really need to think about what they're doing
Okay,
because
so
this can get really bad for them.
Hey guys,
Listen.
I want to. This is.
It's
you guys are
called
very
putting them
passionate
on
about
notice.
This conversation, and you guys can.
It's
continue
called putting them
after-
on
hold
we
notice.
can go into another room.
Hold on,
about
Data.
it,
Yeah, you guys can continue after this, but I've got to cut the show short tonight because I have another commitment. But what I wanted to do for the last few minutes, and then you guys can get back to your conversation, is I wanted to take a look one more time at this picture here. Let me share my screen. We haven't looked at this since like the first 2 or 3 shows that I took over after Randy, if you'll remember back. Does anybody remember looking at this before? I thought since Martin's in chat, he might be
Yeah,
interested
that
in
was
this.
good.
He may even have some
Yeah.
comments on this. Yeah, it's an illustration by Rubens for a book called Opticorum Libri Sex Philosophis. I can't remember the interpretation for that. Oh, 6 books of optics useful for philosophers and mathematicians alike. I think that's the translation.
Do you know?
It was
Do you know
published
when you
in
do research?
1613, so it is public domain, obviously. But this photo,
When you
just take a look at it. You know, it's on the screen, and let me move this out of the way. It is very interesting, as are all of the engravings in this book by Rubens. So I'll point a couple of things out here. You've got these angels, which are creepy in and of themselves. One is holding a torch.
Those are cherubs.
Cherubs, thank you. Cherubs, who's holding a torch, and the smoke appears to be blocking the sky for some reason over these other 2 cherubs. One is holding a, what is that called? A compass, right? A compass. And pointing at the shadow in kind of a conspiratorial way as they have grip each other masonically, right? Touching each other's forearms like that. And he's pointing to the shadow of, I believe this is supposed to be the universe. That's the Earth with the constellations around the outside. The shadow of that, and measuring it. Well, the man holds up the universe and looks down at the shadow that they're pointing at. One other thing, this cherub is doing that blotting out of the light behind the man's back as he holds the universe up. So lots of meaning here. I don't know what the hell it means. If anybody has any thoughts, this whole
Do you want
book
another
is
little
really
tidbit of
fascinating.
info, Brandon?
What's that?
You know, that's supposed to be Atlas there holding the globe. Atlas was supposed to only be holding the ecliptic, not the whole globe. Like, they've turned him into, you know, something that the globe's resting on his shoulders, but it was originally only supposed to be the ecliptic, the stars, the constellations.
And Atlas was a
That's
giant,
yes.
a dragon put down by Poseidon, I guess.
How
Not
do
a
you only
man.
hold an ecliptic?
No idea.
You be a demigod.
It's the celestial sphere. Martin says Atlas holds the celestial sphere. It was never a globe, obscured by
Yeah, they always
clouds.
paint him with the globe now
Right.
on his back, but it was not meant to be the globe.
Yeah. So that's supposed to be the celestial sphere. So I don't know what this guy's trying to say. in this
Anytime
book.
you're-
I tried to find a interpretation, an English translation of this book. I haven't been able to find it yet.
Why don't you try
Brandon,
splitting
before-
the image? Why don't you try splitting the image like we did last time to see if there's any other hidden symbology in it?
Oh,
Brandon, before you go,
mirroring it
I
over?
want to talk about those Wolfie videos real quick with you. Just
Mirroring
Well,
it.
we can
1
talk
minute.
about that after we get done talking about this. Let me see if
What's
that's
in the bottom left corner?
down here. It looks like a rock or something. It's not very. It's kind of indescript.
It's kind of like a rag or something.
Now, I don't know if anybody can confirm this, but anytime I research perspective, it leads me to psychology,
Yeah.
like the function of perspective. I never get the true answer on what perspective is. I just get psychological papers regarding it.
Anybody want to take a shot at interpreting what this means?
Well, they're measuring the shadows, right? They're measuring the angles of the shadows.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like there. So they're just deducing the shape of the celestial sphere using the shadows.
And why is this cherub, doing this with this torch here?
Because that's highlighting, it's giving the shadow. It's giving the...
No, to me, they're already on the ground, but they're holding up a ball on top of the ground they're standing on and pretending the light that's coming, casting the shadow that they're measuring is coming from that ball, but they're already standing on a ground.
Looks almost like a hollow earth ball, for heaven's sake.
They're just using the light to cast a shadow of the sphere and then measure the angles. That's what it looks like. I can't really see much into that, but they're causing the shadow, and they're therefore causing the shadow that they're measuring. So if they're inducing the shadow, they're by maybe creating the answer by creating the shadow.
Brandon, the second video that Wolfie sent you on that chat you had with him, I believe it's the second one, not that fake dildo starship falling one, but the other one with the rocket going up.
Yeah.
If you'll look at that one, it shows and it explodes or does something. There's a big old cloud when it gets up there as it's arcing
Hold on,
over.
let me just put
real
my 2
quick,
cents
real
in.
quick.
Well,
real
you are
quick,
changing the
Jeremy.
subject.
It's on the
Aaron.
it's on the picture.
No,
Yeah, it's on the picture.
no. Listen, there's a shadow that is cast on that cloud up in the air, and Wolfie's trying to tell you that see the takeoff cloud is in shadow, and then that thing gets up. Okay, the thing's lit up, and then there's a shadow, and look which way that shadow is pointed. That's what I'm saying. If you think if Wolfie knows where the sun is causing the shadow at the takeoff, how come the shadow of that cloud isn't going the same direction that he would assume that the sun is blocking the initial takeoff shadow? Okay, check it out, dude.
I'll have to take a look at that.
Sorry, Jeremy.
Martin says
all right. No, it's all right.
It means we get reset by a comet. I think he's referring to the picture. So
What's the thing with is it Plato's cave? What's the cave where the people can only see their shadows?
Plato.
Yeah.
Plato's cave. Yeah. That I think that's what it is. They're just showing us the shadows and tricking us into thinking it's a globe. That's all.
yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Something along those lines too. Like they are creating the light, they're creating the shadow, and then they're measuring the shadow, and that's all we see is the shadow.
So
that's
it's
all we're seeing is the shadows,
based on supposition.
Like Plato's cave. Yeah.
All right. Oh, that's a good one. All right. Yeah.
You should even look at Aristarchus. If you ever look at Aristarchus in the first measurement to the sun. Yeah, it's quite funny how they did it. Like it's pretty ingenious to think about how they did it, but it's totally based on a supposition. So Aristarchus measuring the 1 million mile sun, he did it from deducing 2 positions of the moon shadow, coming up with an 8-degree angle, where Eratosthenes came up with a 7.2 degree angle. So all shadows, guys, all shadows.
Which refers me to that video that Wolfie sent you, Brandon. Whenever you're ready, let's have a look at it.
Yeah, another thing I just thought of, it's the false light that this cherub has that is casting the shadow, right? I think you said something along that, but something to do with false light. I really got to find a translation of this book and figure out what the hell this guy was into. Got to go back to researching that. Anyway, so yeah, that video, unfortunately, I have to cut short. I went over what I should have already tonight, unfortunately. So if anybody has any final thoughts that they feel very strongly they need to get out there before I close the show down, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll shut it down.
Is Carlos still here?
No.
Okay, I'm good then.
I feel very strongly that Bob Dole has not been as vocal as he usually is. And Brandon, you got to do something about this. I'm pissed off. So
I think he's mad at me for canceling last Thursday's show still.
God.
I know.
Well, you need to fix that relationship.
Or maybe he's mad because we made fun of his son.
Oh, that's going in the top 10. That's going in the fucking top 10 right there.
I forgot to fucking clip that diagram. I gotta go back and get
screenshot.
that. That's gonna go in my coffee table with a coffee table book with Rumpus's art.
We're putting that on the fridge.
Oh shit. Anyway, anybody else got any final thoughts? No. Okay, I appreciate it, guys. Sorry to cut short tonight.
Yeah, wait, let me say one thing real quick, man. Let me say one thing. Decimal Z, old Dr. Zach, he's back, made a video. And somebody mentioned Antonio Subarats earlier, and he made a video today and yesterday, and he looked good, man. He looked great. He was in good spirits. He said that that because of COVID and everything and everything that's been going on, it's flat Earth's been kind of a low tide, but it's fixed. But there's an up and coming tsunami coming. So get ready, finish his book.
Good to hear that he's doing good.
Link
That's
them,
good.
my good man.
info, Brian.
Yeah,
Good info.
thanks
Brian.
for saying that, because D.K in the chat was saying that too, and I meant to mention it, so that's good. Always good when somebody gets.
And my line's still sitting underwater, man. I got. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it tomorrow or Friday, but pray for good weather Saturday, man. It's just sitting there, fucking in the clear. It's tied up. I got it pinned down to the bottom, and it's in a hazard zone, so it's not affecting or hurting nobody. And the poles are off in the cut, but you know, it's killing me, dude. I can't freaking get out there just to pull the fucker. I did all this shit, and I can't even get out there. But I'm shooting for Saturday, so you know, fuck, we'll see.
You're probably
Thanks.
killing all the fish and shit out there, Brian.
Jesus. Yeah. Alligators wrapped up in your
Eels are
line.
getting tied
God
up in
damn
it and shit. Alligator, little baby alligators, tadpoles.
Dead bodies.
Dead bodies.
I mean, we are talking about Florida here.
Florida, that's right. Mafia City.
All right, guys. All right, we'll cut it short here. Thanks for being on the show tonight. To all the panel, I appreciate it, and we'll be back tomorrow. Should be regular time, and I'll be back. I'll hit the record, and then I'll be away. So you guys are
cool. Have fun on your date, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye, Brandon.
Bye, guys. All right, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow at the normal time. I do apologize for cutting a little short, but I've got some stuff I've got to take care of. But we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.